What those days are? Good evening, and welcome to the public hearing for the Livingston Zoning Board of Adjustment. Today is February 26, 2026. If you're an applicant for a D or use variance, you should be aware that such a variance can only be granted after showing that special reasons for the grant of that variance exists, and the variance can be granted without substantial detriment to the zoning plan of the Township of Livingston. Excuse me. You should also be aware that in order to be granted such a variance, you will require affirmative vote of 5 members of the 7-member Board of Adjustment. Other variances may require a majority of 4 members to grant that variance. If you're an applicant for any variance and your variance is denied by this board, you have the right to appeal to Superior Court of the State of New Jersey within 45 days of notice of decision, and that court may overturn the decision of this board. If you're an objector to any type of variance that has been granted, you too may appeal to Superior Court of the State of New Jersey within 45 days of notice of decision. If you do file an appeal, I ask that you please provide a copy of your complaint to the Planning Administrator, Jackie Hollis. Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the Star Ledger, West Essex Tribune, and a copy was also posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building. In addition to having notice posted, notice of this meeting was placed on the Township's website. Members of the public will have an opportunity to ask questions or to make statements regarding each application at the appropriate time. When the time comes, if you'd like to address the board, please come to the front and use a microphone so we can make sure your comments or questions are part of the record. To the members of the public, I would like to remind everyone that this board exists for the sole purpose of making adjustments to the township zoning rules. The rules are developed and affirmed by the town council. As a board, we listen to the testimony presented for each application and make our decision based on the township rules, state guidelines, as well as rulings issued by the New Jersey courts. We are very happy when the public comes forward and asks questions and or makes statements. In fact, this board always encourages it. However, as a board, we are not going to discuss how we reached our conclusion and how or why we voted for or against an application further than what is required by law. Additionally, over the past month or so, members of this board have received emails from the public to both our work and home emails, and one member received a phone call at their home. We are volunteers, and these actions are inappropriate, improper, and intrusion on our personal lives. Going forward, they will be reported to the proper authorities as harassment. Thank you for your understanding. We will now call the roll. Mr. Kenya?
Mr. Kenya here. Mr. Horn?
Here.
Mr. Shah?
Here.
Mr. Sherman?
Here.
Ms. Yan?
Here.
Mr. Wiseman?
Here.
Mr. Ambati?
Here.
Ms. Khan?
Here.
Mr. Bear?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Excellent. If you are here for 40 Burnett Street, application number 2025-110-V, that application has been adjourned to March 24th. Mr. Kenya, will you call the first application?
Okay, block 4403, lot 17, 11 Berkeley Place. Application number 2025-105-V, Dimitri Kankin. I hope I pronounced it right. Okay, applicant seeks approval for addition in violation of the following section: 170-99C2, front yard setback 40 feet required, 39.6 feet proposed, 0.4 feet variance requested. 170-87CC4, habitable floor area ratio 30% allowed, 34.9% proposed, 4.9% variance requested.
Welcome.
Going to help out the homeowner and the architect get things going. I'm not an attorney, I'm the planner.
Even though you dress like an attorney, Alex.
Thank you.
That's okay.
He doesn't have a bow tie.
Yeah, well, you know, we'll see about Alex upping his game. And you always tell the architects don't ever have ties on anymore. They're all very comfortable. All right, but sir, the person seated, you're the property owner, correct?
My name is Dimitri Kankin.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, so you're self-represented, and so we're going to swear in Alex, are you gonna go first, or you're gonna have the
So
architect go
I'm
first?
gonna go last. We're gonna do the architect, then myself, and we'll preserve any questions or comments for the homeowner, Mr. Dimitri, if the board sees it fit. But we'll bring the architects up, walk you through the plans, what we're here for, and then we'll talk about the variances that we're here to discuss.
Great, Alex, thanks. All right, well, the architect gets over there. Okay.
Good evening.
Do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Just speak loudly into the mic and say, please state and spell your name for the record.
Sure. My first name is Emad. It's E-M-A-D. Last name is Boulis, B-O-U-L-E-S-S.
Okay, and, sir, you're the architect on this project,
That's
correct?
correct, sir. I'm a licensed architect in the state of New Jersey. My license is currently active.
Okay, and, education?
I have a bachelor degree of architecture from University of Fine Arts in Egypt.
Okay, and have you been qualified before other, land use boards?
Yes, but not in Livingston and many other boards.
Chair?
Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as expert in architecture.
Okay, so, Mr. Architect, why don't you proceed to explain the project?
Sure. Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Emad Boulis. I'm here on behalf of the property owner, Mr. Kenken, for the property located at 11 Brickley Place. It's also known as Lot 17, Block 4403, in the R4 residential zone. The property is 8,250 square feet. It's developed with an existing bi-level single-family house. The surrounding neighborhood is fully residential in character and consists primarily of 1- and 2-story single-family homes with similar architectural scale and design. And its property is located in R4 zone, where the maximum permitted habitable floor area ratio is 30%. The existing structure is a bi-level single-family house, and I'm proposing to improve the residence by converting it into 2-story single-family house with a finished basement. The use will remain as a single-family house. There will be no change on the use. I would like to reference to the architecture sheets A01. I don't know if this is something I should display. I can open it? Oh, I'm sorry. So I'm referencing here to sheet A01, the architecture sheet A-01 that shows the basement and the first floor plans. The basement plan will have an indoor recreation room, gym, 1 bedroom, and 1 full bathroom. For the first floor, it will have 2 car garages, which is 441 square feet, kitchen, dining, and family area, living room, bedroom, and a full bathroom. What we're looking at here is architecture drawings A-01. Going to sheet A, architecture sheet A-02, it shows the second floor, which is a 4 bedrooms, 2 full bathroom, and a laundry room. Also in the sheet A02 and the next sheet A-03, you'll find the exterior elevations. It will be all upgraded with a stucco finish and a stone water table. The roof will also remain as a gable roof. I'm looking here at sheet A-02 and also in sheet A-03. The proposed maximum building height is 27 feet, 6.5 inches, which complies with the height requirement for R4 zone. The proposed floor area for the first floor is for 1,413 square feet, and for the second floor, it's 1,426 square feet. Therefore, the total habitable floor area is 2,880 square feet. This is a result, it's the proposed floor area ratio of 34.91, where 30% is permitted in the R4 zone. Therefore, I'm here tonight requesting the board approval to grant a bulk variance relief to permit a habitable floor area ratio of 34.91%. And also, the existing front yard and setback is at 39.6 feet. It's in a pre-existing non-conforming condition, which is not going to be increased. All other zoning requirements are satisfied. The proposed improvement will maintain a single-family residential use. It will comply with the maximum height requirement. It will not exceed the permitted lot coverage, and will maintain appropriate architectural scale and character consistent with the surrounding neighborhood. Thank you.
So, Mr. Architect, let me just clarify something. The front yard setback, are you staying within the existing footprint?
Yes, sir, it's
So that
39.6.
that front yard setback already exists,
That's correct.
and it's just the quote-unquote violation is because now you're adding to the second level, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so it's in the air rather than on the ground.
That's correct, sir.
I'm slightly confused. So looking at the chart, it says that the existing setback is 32.4 feet.
Yeah, but they're taking that out.
Hold on.
This is
I
existing.
Got it. And the proposed 39.6, so you're actually pushing the house.
We're pushing the garage
Further back.
into the 39.6 to align with the existing structure.
So you're making it better.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so I guess the part that I'm a little confused on is this is stated here, it's an addition, right? It's a renovation and addition, but it kind of looks like, I can't understand what part of the house that is there today remains, right? Because you're not tearing it down and putting up a whole new house, you're doing a renovation in addition to the current house.
It's mostly the basement floors. All the footing walls will remain in place.
Okay?
It's going to be some addition to which is, I'm talking about the second floor, but all the entire perimeter of the basement is going to remain.
Okay.
That's what we call it addition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Chair, any questions from the board, the architect?
All right. Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? No. Does anyone in the public have any questions for this witness? No? Okay. Back to you.
All right, so we're going to proceed with that, all right? Do you swear affirm and tell the truth to this zoning board tonight?
I do.
All right, Stardy, just take a seat. Please state and spell your name for the record.
Alexander Dougherty, D-O-U-G-H-E-R-T-Y, professional planner, address 136 Route 10, East Hanover.
All right, and Stardy, you are a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey, correct?
Correct, my licenses are good and current. I've testified before this board. I'm a member of APA New Jersey, professional development officer. I present the League of Municipalities State Redevelopment Conference. I'm also the in-house town planner for Dover out of Morris County.
Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as an expert in professional planning.
Thank you. So, in a nutshell, this application, yes, it's a substantial renovation, I guess we can call it. We're really gonna try to keep the building footprint and square it off as the architectural designs kind of indicate, some jogs there. As the architect also indicated, we're in conformance and compatibility, if you will, with the neighborhood streetscape and scale of these homes. We are here for two variances. One we discussed is really kind of an existing condition that we're really just squaring off, but yes, we are, encroaching, but it's by 4 inches of that front yard setback. From a planning perspective, when we talk about the front yard setback, we want consistency, continuity in neighborhood, a consistent, predictable development pattern. That 4 inches is imperceivable from the public eye, especially if you're walking or driving down the street. You're not gonna pick it up. I see no substantial detriment and erosion of the intent of the ordinance and why we have front yard setbacks. Again, existing condition of 4 inches, I would really argue it's a de minimis variance, and we're really trying to square off and align the front facade. What we're really here for to discuss, in my opinion, is the habitable floor area ratio. We are in a situation here at 11 Berkeley Place, Block 403, Lot 12. When we look at this zone, the R4 zone, It allows for 30%, which really, of the lot area of 93,075 square feet, gets you a building of approximately 2,812 square feet, if I did my math correct. We're at 34.9%, but if you look at the building size, it's 2,880 square feet. So what I'm gonna articulate here is, our lot is undersized. We have a lot of 8,250 square feet. That floor area ratio is related to the square footage of the property. If we had that, we wouldn't be here for that variance. But nonetheless, we're here for the variance. And the intent of a floor area ratio, particularly from a residential standpoint and a planning standpoint, is we want to make sure the homes, it's another tool to measure and kind of box in scale and massing. We're compliant with the building coverage, the side yard and rear yard setbacks, and we have a buildable envelope, but we don't want a home that's not really fitting with the character, especially mid-block and in a smaller, quiet street. But for this purpose here, we're not violating that scale, size, and massing. The house is compatible. If we had a conforming lot, this variance lives on paper. It's imperceivable. This house is not out of character. One of the balancing of the intent of FAR is, can the site accommodate this additional square footage? We have an existing home built in the 1960s. We're going to modernize it. We have a growing family. We have in-laws moving in. We have kids at the house. Applicant's been here for 15 years, wants to stay here. We want to modernize the house to consumer expectations. 1960s living arrangements are different than 2026 and going forward. Substantial investment in site, substantial investment in the neighborhood, and that of Livingston Township as a whole. This FAR, the scale size is compatible. I think when we look at it, we have a residential house in a residential neighborhood that is really compatible as far as the scale and continuity here. Again, if we had that existing square footage for lot area, we would be here. On a balance, I know we have habitable floor area, which the board is typically hearing, but that allows in the R4 zone 32,020 square feet. So on a balance, we're under habitable floor area. We're over on a ratio, and that's related to the undersized nature of the lot. With that, I do not see any negative detriments. This is going to be a modern house built to all applicable codes, all applicable engineering codes. Again, our side yard, our rear yard setback, building coverage is all in compliance here. This variance really just lives on paper. We advance many purposes of the municipal land use law. Purpose A, particularly purpose I, desirable visual environment. I would also say purpose C, purpose M, as well, to encourage coordination of various public and private procedures and activities shaping land development with a view of lessening the cost of such development and more efficient use of land. We are modernizing the home, making efficient use of the site, and being in scale and character. So I think we can advance many purposes of municipal land use law. We don't erode the intent of the R4 zone. It's a residential house in a residential zone. It's really compatible in scale and size. And we're certainly, advancing the goals of the master plan by bringing this residential home, modernizing, turning over that aging housing stock, and bringing Livingston forward. So with that, I'll conclude. I see positives with this application. I see really no negative detriment to the zone, the master plan, or to the neighborhood build out. This variance lives on paper.
Thank you. Just one quick correction. You said
Yes.
it was 4 inches short. It's 0.4
0.4,
feet.
I apologize.
5.5,
0.4, yeah.
just for the record, so
Yeah.
it's 5
Even less.
I'm an engineer, sorry. Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Please step up if you have a question. Come up to the mic. Statements are after. Okay. Smart man, he knows the rules. You want us to make a statement about statements? Well, I think we're almost time for the statements. I think we're time for the statements. That's why I
Okay.
asked you.
So when the public makes statements, there is a time limit we place on it with reasonable flexibility. And obviously, we want the public to feel free to make comments that are appropriate to the application before the board. The board is deciding this application at this site. So please keep your comments to that site, because this is a record that is developed for the board and for the applicant as well. When you come up, you please have to state your name and your address when you're providing comments, and you will be sworn in before your statement begins.
Would anyone like to make a statement? You're up. Of
Okay.
course, we're trying to help everybody.
Do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Okay, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Sure. My name is John Burkhart, Burkhart, and my address is 14 Amherst Place. My property borders 11 Berkeley to the back. I will make this very quick. Very excited about these plans. Sounds great, and would be happy to have a family living back there. Just wanted to state concerns and observations that neighbors of that property have had. As people in that neighborhood may know, sewer lines run through the middle of the property line there, and we've had issues with those sewer lines leaking into properties when being overflowed because of past owners not clearing or other issues that just come with sewer lines of this nature degrading over time, which we are very understanding of. We just like things like this to be considered and taken into account, as well as draining issues just from ground. So we've just had other experiences with other builders having lots of drainage and water enter into our properties. So I think just myself and other neighbors are just concerned and want to make sure that the builders, who we sure have great intentions to do all the things in the correct way, address that, as well as large trees and other things. That's all.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and just for your information, you know, this is the first stop for this applicant. The applicant then, if it's approved, any application has to go to the building department, and there's a series of permits and requirements that they have to meet in order to maintain site safety and in order to ensure that the site is not causing harm or detriments to others. So it's the building department's role to play that oversight, and obviously the applicant or the ultimate builder here will have that obligation. But so you know, what I'm saying to you is that there's more that goes on beyond the board, and just something to be aware of.
Awesome.
And I'll just add, drainage generally is not in our purview, but the engineering department requires that no additional water goes off the property. So however many gallons per rainstorm go off, it can't exceed that. It has to be reduced. If you have any problems, please, they're willing to talk to you, of course, and as the project goes, feel free to swing by and speak with them. So,
Thank you.
good points.
Thank you very much.
Would anybody else like to make a statement? Okay, do you want to have any closing comment?
No, I think I said it all. You know, we hope you can look upon this application favorably, and again, this variance is due to the nature of the undersized lot.
Okay. Does anybody on the board want to make any statements? Does anybody on the board want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Kenya? Yes.
Wait, you motion,
Motion to approve.
motion to approve.
I did say that.
Okay, Sherman talked over you.
I know, he likes to. Okay, Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Shah,
Yes.
Ms. Young.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Khan,
Yes.
Mr. Beer,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. Have a good day. Please call the next application.
Okay, Block 6001, Lot 71, 42 Walnut Street, application number 2025-108-V, Timothy Politovics. Applicant seeks approval for the rear extension to the rear of the house and replace existing front porch in violation of the following section. 170-97C2, front yard setback 60 feet required, 20.3 feet proposed, which is existing, 39.7 feet variance requested. 170-97C3, right side yard setback 15 feet required, 7.7 feet proposed, that's existing, 7.3 feet variance requested. 170-87E, accessory building 6 feet from any other accessory building or structure required, 0.7 feet proposed, which is existing, 5.3 feet variance requested.
All right, so, yeah, making a lot of noise there, Chairman. Okay, so are you Timothy Politowicz? Okay. Well, I was somewhere close. You have to hit the green button, okay. So you're the owner of the property, correct, sir?
Correct.
All right, and you brought somebody with you. Who'd you bring with you?
It's my architect.
Your architect, and wearing a tie. Wow, okay. Okay, well, not for nothing to my other fellow architects out there, and not that I'm looking at you. But, okay,
He could be dating himself.
that's,
I'm not that far behind you.
hey, it's okay. All right, so, Mr. Architect, you will be the only person testifying, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, so, why don't we have you, you want to do there or from the podium?
Yeah, I will talk about the plans up here.
All right, so why don't we get you up at the podium, we'll swear you in.
I wanted to see if you got my last name right.
Well, why don't you say, and then I'll just agree with you. Okay, Mr. Architect, see, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Let's swear you in.
Mr. Architect, I like that.
Yeah. Do you swear for and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Sure, it's Keith Giannakopoulos, Giannakopoulos.
That sounded right to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so, Mr. Giannakopoulos, pretty close.
Close.
Can you give us the benefit briefly of your qualifications as an architect?
Sure, I'm a registered architect in the state of New Jersey. 30 years now. I got my license in 96. I was educated at Pratt University, and I hold a bachelor's of architecture at Pratt.
Okay, and your license to practice architecture in the state of New Jersey is up to date?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
Coming due in a couple months.
all right. Put the date on your calendar.
Yeah.
Chair?
Got to take the ethics course, too. Does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as expert in architecture.
Thank you.
All yours.
Okay, so, yeah. So we have, it's hard for me to see this, but we have an undersized lot at 20,458 square feet, where the zone R2 that we're in calls for 25,000 square feet. We have also an undersized width where 100 feet is a requirement. We have 75 feet. Both these factors contribute to the requirement for the side yard, front yard setbacks, and the existing condition at the garage, which has a shed 0.7, I think, feet from the other structure, the garage. So our FAR conforms to the requirements, and our overall area complies as well. If you want, I can run you through the floor plans and show you how we came up with our addition.
Sure. Quick question. Do we have a colorized copy? We do? Okay, because ours is black and white. Okay, go ahead. Want to make sure.
Okay, so the addition is to the rear of the structure, and we have the pinch point on the right side, which is that 7.7 square linear feet. And with our addition, we stepped it in as the lot is not exactly 90 degrees straight. So we stepped it in to keep the addition that same 7.7 feet from the lot line. So our addition is essentially taking the place of the existing deck and then a little bit more. So the addition itself is about 500 square feet, but we're only adding 377 square feet in building coverage. But we still conform to the overall maximums. Our impervious coverage, when you do the math and add the additions and subtract out the front we'll get to the front next, but we're taking out the front and we're adding in a porch, and we come up with an 898 addition in impervious, but again, we're still under all of our requirements. And that comes into play, jump quickly to the engineer's report, where they mentioned that the increase would require dry wells, and I believe we meet the exception, and I know that would get handled once we submit for the building permits. I could run you through here on the floor plans. Let's go down.
Well, let me just clarify something. So when you look at those floor plans, when the addition, extension to the home, you're following the current home's setback.
Along the
You're just
side.
continuing it
Yes.
further back.
Right.
Okay.
The front
With
yard,
a slight jog,
there's a slight jog, right?
Right.
To maintain that same.
not a marathon, it's just a jog.
Right.
Okay.
But the front yard is over the setback line. Actually, the front yard setback, if we go back to the previous sheet, the front yard setback is way back here behind the house. So the 60-foot front yard setback actually occurs in the backyard. So, well, the intent was to just create the addition in the place of the existing deck and still keep it at the same setback from the side.
Just to be clear, right, the work that you're doing on the house does not create any new variances. It's just the existing variances or existing conditions remain.
That's correct.
Okay.
So on the first floor, we have main living space, not changing, kitchen, not changing much, but reconfiguring the entrance to the master bedroom to get a little more privacy and enlarging the main living area, which was a little cramped, and adding in a mudroom transitional area from the backyard into the kitchen, but not directly into the kitchen, kind of taking it in on the side here. And then there's a covered porch in the back and a new covered porch in the front, which is 6 feet from the front of the house. As I understand it, that's the allowed distance for a front porch.
So it'd be fair to say that as Mr. Horn indicated, these are in essence pre-existing conditions that are all caused by the unique size and shape of the lot. So it would fall within the parameters of a C1 hardship variance.
Yes.
Would you agree on that, Mr.
Yes,
Architect?
yes, it would, thank you. Yeah.
I couldn't, I was going to try again, but I decided to just call you Mr. Architect.
I like Mr. Architect. So there was a prior application in 2021 that was approved, and this is a scaled-down version of it. The 2021 version was a two-story addition. Here, we're not touching the second floor other than shifting some windows so that our roof lines work in the back. So our structure, our addition, the roof lines, when we get to the elevations, you'll see, come up, and we had to shift the windows and change the shape a little bit to make them work. Okay. So here you'll see the front elevation, which has the new front porch. And what we also added was, if you look at the elevations, there are little triangles, dark triangles. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but the roof type that exists on the house right now is called a jerkin head roof, and it's sloped a little bit like a hip roof on the ends. So we're filling those in and squaring off all the gable ends to make them a little more modern and look a little more up to date.
Okay, I think the board has the information it needs.
Okay, great.
Quick question, there's no livable space over that second floor though, right? That's,
It's just a one-story addition.
right, okay. Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Please.
Yeah, I'm curious, because even though it's the same, you're keeping with the same setback, it does go back, usually we see a few feet, like an extension. Here you're going almost double back. So, and I did look at the house, but I didn't go back there. I'm just curious in terms of your neighbor, what, because you're sort of encroaching, that back portion of the house, what's there on your neighbor's property across from the addition that's gonna be built?
They have a detached,
Let's swear you in, sir. Do you swear firm, tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Go ahead, answer the question.
They have a detached one-car garage. It's really used for storage. And I think in between that detached garage and our fence, they have, it's like a kennel area. It's just, chain link fence kennel thing. They don't have a dog, but other than that, there's nothing in the backyard on either our lot or theirs.
So if you I zoom this in a little bit, you can see here on the survey, on the left side, we have the house structure here and a detached structure there. On the other side, we have the house going back, maybe 10 feet shy of our addition, and then another detached structure in the back. So it shows up on the survey what the structures are on either side.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public want to make a statement as per his rules? Does anybody on the, do you have anything else in closing?
I think that's it. I'll leave you with a little pretty picture of the house and,
Okay.
and that's it.
Do we have that in color? Okay. Does anybody on the board want to make a statement? Does anybody on the board want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Horn.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Sherman.
Yes.
Mr. Kenya, yes. Mr. Shah.
Yes.
Ms. Yan.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Khan.
Yes.
Mr. Beer.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay.
Please call
Lot
the next.
5100, Lot 2425, Winchwood Road, application number 2025-109-3.
Thank you, take care.
Mark Hirschberg. Applicant seeks approval for a front side and rear addition in violation of the following section. 170-98C3, aggregate side yard setback 33 feet required, 28.3 feet proposed, 4.7 feet variance requested. 170-87CC3, habitable floor area ratio 21% allowed, 21.16 percentage proposed, 0.16% variance requested.
Okay, so,
Welcome.
just do me a favor, hit the button. Very good. So I am gonna make a couple of guesses. You are the owners of the property, Hirschberg?
Yes.
Okay. And you have your architect here to explain the project. I can tell he's an architect because he's trying to look like,
Steve Jobs.
or Marcel, I don't know. He may be going for like a French Renaissance look. Clearly, that's how you definitely know he's an architect. Not even a jacket. Not even a jacket. But that's okay. All right, so we'll swear Ms. Bellin.
Okay,
Do you swear for and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Can you do us the favor of stating and spelling your name for the record?
Yes, Daniel Dubinet, D-A-N-I-A-L, last name Dubinet, D-U-B-I-N-E-T-T.
Okay. And so, Mr. Dubinet, can you just briefly give us your qualifications? You've been accepted as an architect before this board on many occasions, but just brief.
Yeah, a short story is undergraduate, Syracuse University, graduate degree, master's degree, NJIT, 1995. Received my license 2001. 2001. So it's been about 25 years practicing residential, primarily architecture in our hood, in our neighborhood. And I've appeared before this board before, and the license is still good.
Very good.
Yes.
Chair?
We can accept you as an expert in architecture.
Thank you. And if I may, I think, I don't know if did we swear the clients in?
Oh, okay, I didn't know if we
Yeah, just
might as well just,
Yeah.
well, I'll know you're raising your hand. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we just need your name, ma'am.
Stacy, Stacy.
La-
Hirschberg, Hirschberg.
Okay.
Good evening, and thank you for taking the time to consider our application. My name is Stacy, and my husband Mark and I are longtime Livingston residents, LHS, class of '94. Our intention with this project is simple: to remain in our home and continue being part of this community for the long term. Mark owns and operates a local CPA firm here in town, and Livingston is where both our personal and professional lives are rooted. Remaining here rather than relocating elsewhere is very important to us. The proposed addition is not just about expanding beyond the proposed addition is not about expanding beyond the character of the neighborhood, but about making our existing home functional and handicap accessible. I have a permanent progressive medical condition that creates significant mobility challenges. The cast on my arm and the crutches for my leg are permanent. My condition is deteriorative and I may eventually end up in a wheelchair. We need to make the home handicap accessible so that I can safely live there now and in the future. Working closely with our architect, the design has been carefully planned to minimize visual impact, remain consistent with surrounding homes, and comply with all zoning requirements except where the variance is requested. The goal is not excess, but practicality, allowing me to navigate my home safely and maintain my independence. We are committed to be thoughtful neighbors and responsible homeowners, and we respectfully ask for your consideration and approval so that we may continue living on our home and community in a safe way, accessible and sustainable. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hirschberg. So we're gonna start with Mr. Dubinet to,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you very much. And I forgot to mention that I was 1986 graduate Livingston High School. 40 years.
I did not know that either.
Reunion coming up. Thank you. So yes, there's two variances associated with this application. The first one is the aggregate side yard setback. We'll be seeking about 4.7 feet. One of the things that makes this property a little unique is it's very wide. It's 110, and I think 100 is the minimum. So the width of the property exacerbates the combined side yard requirement. And it's a split-level home, so as we talk about expanding and where we're going to expand, we need it to be on the left-turn side for the expansion, and there's a garage project. So that's the first variance, is the aggregate side yard setback. The second variance we need is habitable floor area ratio. So we'll be under the allowable 3520. Our numbers are... for the habitable floor area ratio, we'll be asking for 3,513. We're 21% is also the max allowed. We'll be at 21.16%, so it turns out to be a 27 square foot violation. And of course, the first thing I thought of is, well, where can we cut? There are obviously places to cut, but if we didn't have to, we prefer the 27 square feet. And because we are here, what drove it mostly was the combined side yard setback, so we figured, let's ask. So let me briefly take you through the project. I think there's three components to this addition. There's the master bedroom expansion that'll happen in the rear. So let me take you through that. I think the site plan will be good. So on the left side, hidden by that block, there it is. Okay. On the left side of the property, behind the house, so currently the house is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. At the end result, we're going to have a 3-bedroom, 3-bath home. So we've opted to expand the bedroom level, which is up a half a flight of stairs, and that's the shaded area in the back. And that'll allow us a large bedroom, closets. We're going to bring the laundry upstairs, and we've increased the size of the bathroom. We're trying to make everything kind of wheelchair accessible. And one of the second part of the project is we're going to expand the living space on the split level. One thing I might add is part of the FAR, which I don't know if it's a C1 hardship, but it's certainly a hardship, is that about 850 square feet of the lower level of the split level, which is 7.5 feet tall, counts towards FAR. So it's kind of like our basement, but we're also being charged for the FAR. So in my opinion, that felt like a hardship, architecturally a hardship. So the areas in pink are the areas that we're expanding. So currently on the upper level, there was 3 bedrooms. We're going to just turn that into 2, and it'll afforded us the pink area in the back is the master bedroom. We've got some closets, we got the laundry room, and we've got a larger bathroom. The front of the house, which does not need a variance, but the front of the house, it was a very interesting challenge, and sorry to bore you with this, but one of the things that came into play was the kind of restrictive nature of the foyer. So when you get greeted at the front door, it's very tight, and of course you're right into the living room. So one idea that we're presenting is that we move the foyer and we steal part of the garage for a nice entrance to the house, a foyer, and then behind that we'll be able to have a powder room. There's no powder room on the first floor as of today. And then we want to expand the garage. Right now it's a side-facing 2-car garage. We'd like to make it a front-facing 2-car garage. So those are the pieces of the puzzle that we're to be able to expand the house. So one of the nice things is we're working with the structure of the split level, and we've added a front porch for, function, but also aesthetics. So we think that enhances the streetscape. It certainly increases and updates and modernizes the house. And so for that reason, I didn't feel like the FAR, although small, wasn't an issue. I think the property can handle the additional massing. And what's interesting to note about the side yard setbacks is, although we need the aggregate, we're still way over the 10 feet. So 10 feet is the minimum. And on the left side, we'll have the left side will be 14.6 feet of side yard setback. And on the right side, it'll be 13.6. So I didn't feel like I was encroaching on the open light and airspace to the neighbors. And I had the quick opportunity to study the neighbors and what's the situation. So there's no negative impact to the neighbors. And I'd like to add this as an exhibit, because this is in addition to what you have.
We'll call it Exhibit A.
A.
All right, and we'll make sure that we get it to Catherine, right?
So I took some, this is Google Earth image. So this sheet is basically a Google Earth image from 2024, which shows the proximity of the adjacent homes, and I had a chance to measure it. So the neighbor on the left facing the house, which is, I believe, 23, Witchwood, the aggregate or the open space between the two after the project's done would still be 35.6 feet between the two houses. And on the right, which I believe that's number 27, after the project's completed, there'll be 33.7 feet between the two houses. So I felt comfortable that we weren't encroaching on anybody's light, air, and open space. And then just real quickly, this is number 23 from the back. So they have very few windows. So again, not an imposition to them. And the neighbor on the left, similar, there's no windows. So that's my case.
All right,
I
Mr.
think
Duvenet,
yeah.
let me just make sure we're clear on the record. Exhibit A1 is a single-page submission which includes an aerial image, Google aerial image, and 2 photographs of the neighboring properties. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And Mr. Duvenet, can you just, I thought I wrote this down correctly. You converted that 0.16% variance. You said that was that equated to 27 square feet?
Yes, well, if you
Okay.
take the 21%, let's see if my math is correct. So 21% of his lot size, which he's got a large lot, he's 60,000 plus. So 21% of his lot equals 3,046, and we're seeking to be at 3,513, so that differential was 27 square feet.
So, Mr. Dubenet, in your experience as an architect, that 27 square feet that is represented a .16 variance, that would be, the lot would be able to handle that,
Yes,
that whole 27 square feet?
I do feel like we could,
Okay. All right.
it would be de minimis and, of course, no negative impacts. Yes, thank you.
And you feel that there's plenty of room on either side as you were testifying to?
Yeah.
So plenty of
I think
air
there's
and
plenty
light for the neighbors.
And then one other thing that I did not mention is obviously the height doesn't change. So currently the house is at 23 and a half feet, and we're not
So
going
it's a
any
nice
higher.
low profile and everything else.
Low profile, and I think again, to keep the original architecture vibe and feeling, but add and update and modernize.
Okay, does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public want to make any statements? Do you guys want to make any sort of closing statement?
Thank you
I'll
for
take it.
taking the time.
Yeah. Anybody on the board want to make a statement?
I'll just make a quick statement. I appreciate what you've done, having had a mom who was in a wheelchair for the last 26 years of her life, right? Looking at the plans that you did, right, I think those will help make your ability to stay in the house. And I think they're thoughtful, conservative neighborhood, and hopefully gives you the flexibility and the ease in your home. So,
Thank you.
best of luck to you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Horn, second.
Okay, Mr. Horn, second. Okay, Mr. Kenny, yes. Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Shah?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Weissman?
No.
Yes,
Yes.
We had an agreement.
Yes.
Then yes.
Okay. I'm not wearing a bow tie, but I'm doing my job right.
You're doing a great job.
Ms. Khan?
Yes.
Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck. Good health.
Okay, Block 5100, Lot 52, 23 North Drive, application number 2025-114-V. Yashashvi Arun and Swapna Bhatt, applicant seeks approval to construct a new single-family resident in
Thank you.
violation of the following section, 170-87CC3, habitable area floor ratio, 21% allowed, 24.6% proposed, 3.6% variance requested.
Good evening, Chair, Board. Alex Dougherty, planner. Going to move this along. We don't have an attorney. It's a homeowner application. So for kind of how we did the other one, we're going to let the architect go first.
Please.
Okay, and, sir, or can I just have your name for the record?
My name is Yashasvi Arun. I'm the owner of 23 North Drive.
Fantastic, okay. All right, and suppose, architect, ready?
Yes, sir.
Swear front tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
Okay. We just got your qualifications on before and qualified in the field of architecture. Chairman?
We can accept him as an expert in architecture.
Thank
All
you.
right.
So this property is located at 23 North Drive. It's lot number 52, block 5100, and the R3 residential zone. The property is 14,322 square feet. It's developed currently with,
Why
That's not your
don't you
exhibit.
change the video? Yeah, change the image.
On the screen.
Yeah,
Apologies.
we're done with
I did.
Witchwood.
I did, it's showing the floor plans here.
There we go.
That's fine.
Perfect,
Thank you.
good, sorry.
Yes, sir. The property is 14,322 square feet. It's currently developed with one-level single-family home. The surrounding neighborhood is a fully residential, consists primarily of one- and two-story single-family homes of a similar architecture and architecture scale and design. Currently, the property is located in R3 zone, where the maximum permitted habitable floor area ratio is 21%. The existing condition, the structure is one-level single-family home. I'm proposing to convert the single one-family home into two-story, a single-family home as well. They're going to remain as a single-family residential home, and there will be no change of use. The proposed improvement, I'm going to refer to the architecture sheet A-01. It shows the basement level and the first floor. The basement floor will have an indoor recreation room, playroom, media room, mechanical room, one bedroom, and a full bathroom. The first floor will have two-car garage. It's 441 square feet, kitchen, dining, and family area, living room, prayer room, bedroom, and a bathroom. I'm going to flip into architecture sheet A-02, which shows the second floor and the exterior elevation. The second floor will have 4 bedrooms, 4 full bathrooms, laundry room, and I'm showing the exterior on sheet A-02 and A-03. The exterior of the home will be upgraded with the James Hardy panels and a stone water base, and the roof will remain as a gable roof design. The proposed maximum height is 32 feet and 1 inch, which complies with the height requirement in the R3 zone. The proposed area for the first floor, if I go back to the floor plan, to sheet A-01, the first floor is going to be 1,585 square feet. The second floor will be 1,934 square feet. The total proposed habitable floor area is 3,519 square feet. This is the result in the proposed habitable floor area ratio of 24.6, where 21% is permitted in the R3 zone. I'm requesting a bulk variance relief to permit a habitable floor area ratio of 24.6. Also, there is the existing lot area is 14,322 square feet, which is required is 15,000 square feet. The existing lot depth is 138.8 feet, which is required is 150 feet. All other zoning requirements are satisfied. These variances, the request variance will represent a deviation of approximately 3.6 above the permitted ratio. The proposed improvement will maintain a single-family residential use. It will comply with the maximum height requirement. It will maintain appropriate architectural scale and character consistent with the surrounding neighborhood. It's an old structure. It's going to get modernized. It's going to look much better, and it's going to be in code compliance. Thank you.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a question, I have a quick question. Are you the architect of the plan on the record?
I'm working with AS Architecture. My name is Imad Boulis, the architect on record. His name is Ayman Sedra. I'm working with him. He's an AS Architecture Group, LLC, out of Roseland, New Jersey.
So sometimes when, just for the board's edification, when architects or engineers prepare certain plans, well, the name of the architect or the engineer who prepared the plans, signed and sealed them, may not be available that time for the hearing, and as long as it's an architect or an engineer in that same firm who is familiar with the plans and is a member of that same entity, usually is the one that can come and testify, as long as they're licensed to practice architecture in, say, New Jersey.
Yes, I am.
Once in a while. Okay. Does anyone, no one in the public have any questions? Okay. Next.
I recognize I'm still under oath.
Right, so let's just brief swear in, swear for and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight.
I do.
All right, Mr. Dougherty, just state your name for the record, please.
Alexander Dougherty, Dougherty, professional planner.
Okay, Mr. Dougherty was just qualified and expert in the field of professional planning.
We can
Chair?
accept them as a expert in professional planning.
So before the board this evening, at 23 North Drive, we are in the R3 zone. This is block 5,100, lot 52. As the architect indicated, the requirement for the R3 is 15,000 square foot lot. We're slightly below that. We're at 14,322. We are here for a floor area ratio. 21% is allowed. Plans indicate 24.6. 3.6% deviation. I would like to tell the board if we had a conforming lot, this variance wouldn't exist. I will again reiterate, I'm a planner, I'm not an engineer. I do my best with numbers. I still think we would be slightly over the requirement, but on paper, the number looks larger. It's related to the undersized nature of the lot. The plans indicate we are in compliance with habitable floor area, as the building is just 1 square foot shy of that per the zoning chart. So when we on a balance here, the ratio is high, a little bit over, slightly, my math would be 2.7% over if we had a conforming lot, but we are asking for 3.9. But on a balance, if the habitable floor area is in play here, we have our checks. The R3 requires, like I said before, 3,520. The size of the home, habitable floor area, is indicated to be 3,519. So on a balance, the home is compatible with the zone, the built environment, that neighborhood. This is not the biggest home in the neighborhood, nowhere near that. This house, my records, what I pulled, was built in 1957, so a substantial older home. This is tear down and rebuild. I know the board would like to see on a new build, compliance. The way this is designed, and talking with the applicant, we have a growing family. We've been here for a little over going on 10 years. In-laws are moving in. We have an older home, I believe, talking with the applicant and the architectural plan, it's a 3-bedroom house today. So we're going to try to modernize this to consumer expectations and living standards, for the foreseeable future on what the housing demand looks like. We are asking for a little bit, but again, on a balance, that habitable floor area is our check. And I think we're right in compliance. This house is not going to be out of character. With this tear down rebuild, as I stated prior, it has an opportunity to bring best engineering practices and stormwater management to a site, that aren't there today. Older homes, the leaders just run out to the yard. There's no dry wells and that likes. We have an opportunity to bring that on site. Newer modern building code, compliance, and best engineering practices. And again, arrangements. I would argue that we have a compatible house in the zone. We meet the intent of the R3 zone. We would advance many purposes of the municipal land use law. We do have those existing variances by lot area and lot depth. We can't cure those deficiencies, but as far as the side yards, we are in compliant. The building height is in compliant. The building area is compliant. Front yard setbacks are compliant. When we look at this from a perspective, we can advance purpose A to guide appropriate use of development of all lands in the state in a manner which promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. By virtue, we are giving a newer home applicable building codes and best engineering practices. We can advance purpose C because we're compliant with our bulk standards for adequate light, air, and open space. I would argue advancing purpose I to promote a desirable visual environment through good creative development techniques and good civic design and arrangements. We have an opportunity to, continue forward with turning over Livingston's housing stock and bringing that good civic design and architectural arrangement to the neighborhood and to the community at large. I would also argue that we can advance purpose M to encourage the coordination of various public and private procedures and activities shaping the land development with the view of lessening the cost of the development and more efficient use of land. I would argue that we're doing that because we can keep a home here, make more efficient use of it, bring a few more bedrooms online, have that, you know, in-law suite, if you will, a growing family, keep it here. Nothing that we're doing to this house, proposed plans, I think would alter use of this, of the home. We can convert these to home offices, you know, and the likes of that, but we can park it. We have adequate water, sewer, and utility connection here. The balance, when we talk about floor area ratio, is the scale, size, and massing of the homes and structures. Again, we are, you know, in neighborhood conformity and continuity here. We are right on scale here. This variance, I would argue, lives on paper. There's no visual detriment here. The site is going to be modernized, best engineering practices and building codes and the likes. I don't believe it's going to erode the intent of the R3 zone, as well as the Livingston master plan. It's a residential house in a residential neighborhood. I would ask that the board look upon this application favorably. I am a planner. I rely on my counterparts. I don't see any negative detriment here. I understand newer homes have to comply with engineering and building codes. We comply with setbacks. I do not see any negative here. The house is conforming by visual environment, and I would ask that the board look upon this application favorably.
Okay, I got just one or two quick comments. You're actually going down in the lot coverage by squaring off the house, it looks like?
Yeah.
So you're reducing that, it looks like, by 200, 300 feet, 250, whatever, something like that. It's late. Three,
I try to stay away from math.
yeah, I don't. 334, it looks like, plus or minus. So, okay, that's, and then you're also, you're eliminating the front yard setback, right?
Yes, there are positives here, but the variance is the FAR.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I actually have one question, just from a paperwork point of view. The site plan, I don't know if you can answer this. The site plan says the owner applicant is Rodak Builders, and it's Mr. Arun, looks like the owner or applicant. So I'm trying to understand why that.
I don't have an answer for that. My suggestion is, or logical explanation is, Rodak would be the contractor, but he owns the property, he's living here, he's gonna live here.
Okay. Does anybody else on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public want to make a statement? Do you want to make any closing statement, sir?
I would just ask that the board look upon this application favorably. I see no negative detriments here.
Does anyone on the board want to make a statement? Does anybody on the board want to make a motion?
I'll second it.
You were off. There's-
Okay, Ms. Khan?
Yes.
Mr. Shah? Okay, Mr. Kenya, yes. Mr. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Beer?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, block 3301, lot 6, 12 Deal Lane, application number 2025-104-3, Samantha and Samuel Rubin. Applicant seeks approval for two-story addition and one-story attached garage in violation of the following section: 170-87BB3, habitable floor area 3520 square feet allowed, 39 square feet proposed, 380 square feet variance requested. 170-87BB3, habitable floor area ratio 21% allowed, 23.6% proposed, 2.6% variance requested.
Okay, so we have, I'm going to guess this is Samantha and Samuel Rubin, correct? You have to hit the button.
Yes,
Yeah, okay, you're the owners of the property?
correct.
Okay. Are you going to be testifying at all tonight, or are you just going to rely on your architect?
And you can tell I'm an architect because I have a tie on.
No tie, yeah, I figured.
I'll be doing most of the testifying unless something
All
comes
right.
up.
All right, so why don't we swear in your architect and we can start? Okay, Mr. Architect. Do you swear affirm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes.
Okay, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Corey, Corey, Buchholz, Buchholz.
Okay, and briefly, your qualifications.
I graduated from NJIT with a degree in architecture back in 2008. I got my license in 2021. I've been in front of probably a dozen or so boards since then, not this town yet. And my license is current with the state.
Okay, sure. Does anyone on the board have any objections, questions, objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as expert in architecture. All yours.
All right, thank you very much. So we are here tonight for a addition alteration to the existing house at 12 Deal Lane. We are here for the variants that were mentioned, which are the floor area ratio, where 21% is allowed. We're asking for 23.6 with the variance of 2.6, as well as habitable floor area, 3,520 square feet is allowed, 3,900 is proposed with a 380 square foot variance. The rest of the bulk for the site is conforming lot area, lot width, lot depth, front yard setback, and the side yard setbacks all are currently conforming, and we're not increasing those to out of conformity. We are increasing the side yards for the addition slightly, but they are still within the variance limits. The rear yard setback, there is no change. Building height, we are going, because the addition is the existing house is a split level, so the addition is mainly on the higher side of that, so the addition is raising the house up from 21.75 for the building height to 31.8, where the town allows for 35 feet, so we're still within the variance limits for that as well. So my clients are seeking to modernize the house. It's a 1950s house that serves well for that time, but for modern homes, they work from home, both of them telecommuting, not home business. So having that additional space for a home office on the second floor, Samantha's lived in town, I think, most of your life?
Hi, Samantha Rubin. I grew up in town, and it's really special that now we can raise our family in town as well, around the corner from my family, some of which is back there. So we love our street, we love our neighbors and our home, and are just looking to increase its practicality for our growing family. Also for accommodating our aging parents who come in from out of state for extended stays. And to our architect's point, our home offices.
So the nature of it, thank you.
Samantha, it's a little belated, but everything, you hit the green button. Everything you said, you swore affirm to tell truth for the zoning board, right? Everything you just said was the truth.
And also LHS class of 09.
All right, no
Didn't
worries.
want to chime in before.
Thank you, Samantha. I'm sorry, Mr. Architect.
No problem. So the house is a split level, so the massing of it lends itself to what we're trying to do. It's not a big box like some houses can be, not judging anybody else that was in front of the board now or other. But compared to other houses in the area, modernizing this house to be more in line with the new houses that have gone up or the alterations that have taken place. The floor area ratio that we're asking for is 2.6, which is de minimis compared to what is to what we could have been asking for. So the reason we're asking for that is for that more modern house with, right now it's 3 very small bedrooms with their family coming from out of town, from Colorado. People stay over, working from home. That extra space is very useful for them. And the third car garage, while it also adds to that FAR, the third car garage is allowed in the zone. That is also critical to them for both vehicle storage and for storage of kid playthings, because you already have a daughter, I believe. So having the third car garage is also useful for keeping the streetscape clean of stuff. Having 2 kids of my own, I know very well that it just grows all over the place.
So Mr. Buchholz, did I get close? Probably.
Close enough.
Close
I like
enough.
Mr. Architect.
Close enough for the purpose of this application. So with regard to the floor area ratio, would the lot would that lot be suitable for that overage?
Yes, so the lot is a little bit larger than the minimum that is required. So the lot and the landscape and the surrounding area lends itself to that small overage that we're asking for. And it does not violate the neighborhood itself, and is cohesive with it.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for this witness? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Anybody in the public want to make any statements? Do you guys have anything else to add? No? Oh,
Oh, okay.
swear him in now, too.
See, he was listening. Do you swear, do you swear for and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
All
Sam
right.
Rubin.
We are the Sam Rubens.
We are the Sam Rubens.
Yeah.
I just want to say, like, as my wife said earlier, we love our neighborhood. My wife loves the area, which she grew up, I'm a Long Island boy, but, you know, she brought me over to Livingston Town. But, you know, we really want to keep the aesthetic of the neighborhood. Split level is like the entire neighborhood of Broadlawn is all splits. It's both beautiful, but also stressful at the same time with trying to make it work with your active and growing lifestyle. So, you know, we feel that our plans still represent the nature of the neighborhood and the split design.
I actually had a question, I just realized. The attic is not going to be used for usable space?
No, I don't think, we don't.
No, I don't think there's any plans for that at all.
So make that a stipulation of the approval, if you have one?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll
Or
make,
make a statement, I'm sorry. Anyone want to make a statement? No? Anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with the condition of the attic.
Not
Trust
being
me, I
added.
spend a lot of time in this neighborhood trying to find my son who's usually scootering over there, so I know your neighborhood well.
I'll second it.
Okay, Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Mr. Kenya, yes, Mr. Shaw,
Yes.
Ms. Yan.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Khan, Ms. Khan,
Yes.
sorry. Mr. Beer,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go, get the record. Okay, Block 6900, Lot 26, 184 East Northfield Road, application number 2026-12-V, Pedro Gomez. Applicant seeks approval to construct a new single-family residence in violation of the following section. 170-98C2, front yard setback 50 feet required, not to exceed 60 feet, 121.8 feet proposed, 61.8 feet variance requested. 170-98C1, building height 35 feet allowed, 38.5 feet proposed, 3.35 feet variance requested. 170-87BB3, habitable floor area, 3520 square feet allowed, 67 square feet proposed, 3180 square feet variance requested. 170-87I1, garage, three-car garage allowed, 4-car garage proposed, 1 garage variance requested. 170-87E1F3, accessory structure, shed, 500 square feet allowed, 875 square feet proposed, 375 square feet variance requested. 170-96A8F, swimming pool setback 20 feet required, 14.4 feet proposed, 5.6 feet variance requested.
Good evening. I'm Matthew Jarmel. I'm the architect for the applicant. My client has stepped out for a moment. He's about to enter, but if you're okay, we can begin.
Right, are you going to start, Mr. Jarmel?
Yes, I can. So why don't I start, if it's okay, will you swear me in?
All right, do you swear for and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
All right, Mr. Jarmel, can you please give us briefly your experience?
I'd be very pleased to. Thank you. I hold a Bachelor of Architectural degree from the New Jersey Institute of Technology. I also have an MBA, Master's in Business Administration, with a concentration in real estate development and urban land use from Rutgers University. I've been a registered architect in New Jersey since 1994. All total, I have 37 licenses throughout the country. I have testified, no exaggeration, hundreds of times before municipal planning and zoning boards throughout the state, Superior Court. It's been a long time, but I've testified in this zoning board as well as the Livingston Planning Board and resident of Livingston, although not an expert since I was 2 years old. The young lady that was here before, I think she said she was class of 2006. I was 9, I was 1985.
All right, does anyone on the board have any questions or objections regarding this witness? There being no objections, the witness is accepted as expert in architecture.
Great, thank you. If I may, I'm going to...
Please.
So are our exhibits typically up here already? Close it. No. Close the desktop. Thanks. Are you John's son? Cousin.
The last time you were here, we didn't have the technology. Messed you up.
And by the way, I'm going to state for the record that Mr. Jarmel actually thought enough to wear a tie to this hearing, so, you know, not for nothing.
Thank you. This is Pedro Gomes, my client, who's just arrived. So with me tonight is Mr. Gomes. Mr. Gomes has been a resident of Livingston for 15 years. He lives on the subject property for approximately 9 years in the home that's there that was built in the early 20th century, I think in 1912. So it's been there quite some time. Initially, he had plans to apply for a subdivision, and it was in discussions with the town, some members of the planning board, about building 4 homes here that would more or less comply with the R3 zoning. But it's a beautiful piece of property, as we'll talk to you about this evening. It's almost 2.6 acres in area. It's wooded, adjacent to the Orange Water Reserve all the way around, and it has, as you may know, a stream that runs in front of the property on the, I guess, the northern side along Northfield. You can barely see the existing house now, and actually, if you were headed east on Northfield, you would pass the Kiwanis Fairgrounds and then the water reserves, several hundred yards of woods. It's the very first home. The property is located in a split zone. Approximately 70% of the property is located in the R1 zone. That's the rear of the property. And the remaining 30% approximately that fronts Northfield is in the R3 zone. There are several variances that we're requesting. In talking to our client and reviewing them, I can tell you right off the bat that we will adjust the height of the building to comply with the 35 feet that's allowed in the zone. One of the reasons, by the way, although it's irrelevant because we're going to comply, is that part of the property is in the flood hazard zone. The house had to be raised up out of it, but we'll reduce the floor-to-floor heights to make that work. Candidly, we missed the fact that 4-car garage is not allowed, and client is willing to reduce it to 3 cars and keep the other portion of the garage for storage. So other variances, and we have Mr. Dowdy, Alex Dowdy, I think this will be his 3rd hearing tonight to testify on the variances. So I won't go into detail other than mention them. There's a front yard variance. We're actually set back too far from the street. It's a very, very deep lot, which you'll see. In addition to that, there is I'm sorry, there's also a swimming pool variance. We're too close to the property line. We looked at that. We're going to eliminate that variance as well. So we're eliminating 3 of the variances: height, garage, and side yard with the swimming pool. And that leaves us with a habitable floor area variance, which Mr. Dougherty will talk about, and a front yard variance, I believe.
Mr. Jarmel, let me just make sure we have the record clear. and
Yes,
we'll-
okay.
So of the variances that were originally requested as part of the packet, 3 of them are going to be eliminated by virtue of revised, if the board were to look favorably on the project, your office and the other professionals would submit revised plans that would show the structure height to be compliant with the 35-foot standard,
Correct?
to remove the 4th garage, correct? And the plans would also be revised to show the swimming pool is now compliant. It's moved further away from the side yard. Is that a side yard?
Yes, that is correct. There's one additional variance that I didn't mention, I apologize. There's a pre-existing nonconformity with the size and area of the sheds. I believe you're allowed a total of 500 square feet. There's actually 2 existing sheds on the building that Mr. Gomes proposes to keep, and I believe they're about 800 square feet combined.
So the variance requested for the accessory structure at 875 square feet, that's actually pre-existing. No
That is
change-
correct.
It's not, those are not being moved, they're not being touched in any way, shape, or form.
They are not. The plan does show one of them being moved by the pool, but in discussions, we said we would leave it where it is.
Okay, so that is a variance request, but is pre-existing.
That is correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure that the board is up to date as to which variances are actually being requested. So we still have the front yard, the habitable floor area, and
The shed.
technically the shed,
Yeah,
but the shed is a
technically.
pre-existing.
Pre-existing
Does that- yeah,
non-conforming,
it's
right.
pre-existing. Does that
Still
need
has
a
to be-
variance in any way if it's not being touched?
It would, technically, they have to ask for it because of the other changes that are being made on the property.
On the property.
But it's pre-existing. So it's a technicality.
And just real
They
quick,
wouldn't have to request it if they
one
weren't
of
doing
those
these
sheds
other
is in the
things.
woods, kind of, looks like.
That is correct, yeah. So one of them is very
Kind
far
of
back.
buried.
Yeah, kind
Yeah,
of buried.
okay, I just wanted to make sure I was seeing that correct?
Yeah. So the drawing I just put up, which is drawing CP 200, which was submitted to you, and I'll just kind of show you really quickly. This is only, we cut the site, right? So the site is cut here. It continues to go on for several hundred feet. It's very, very deep. It's a beautiful piece of property. The dark dotted line you see is the zone line. So it's located to the left of this zone, which is south on the property, is a R1 zone, and to the right is the R3. The existing home would be demolished, obviously. I don't know if that's obvious, but the existing home will be demolished upon completion of the new home. So the home is set back a little bit from that existing home, which causes sort of the front yard variance, why it's so deep. And in addition, as you may be familiar with a lot of homes on this side of Northfield, on the southern side of Northfield or the eastbound lane, there's a stream, and many of them have bridges that cross the stream. So as a result of that stream, we're also setting back. We're keeping the bridge and the driveway exactly as is, but we're proposing a circular driveway which would allow cars to easily turn around, visitors, and then exit nose first, so they don't have to back out onto Northfield, which would cause potentially cause a traffic hazard, would definitely cause a traffic hazard. The home we propose is a luxury home. It's proposed to be modern in look and style. And I can show you some of the floor plans, but here's a rendering that we prepared of it. You can see that the grading is done in such a way so that the lower level, where the garages are, where you see 4, and this door will go away so that you'll only see 3, is actually sunken down. Interesting thing which Mr. Dougherty may talk about is the way you measure habitable floor area. The first portion of your garage is free, and then I think everything after that. but the garages are technically in the basement. And basements don't count towards habitable floor area. Just lay a little foundation for Mr. Dougherty when he talks about that a little bit. It's, so there's a lower level, there's a main living level, and an upper, and again, the house is sort of elevated because part of the property is in the flood hazard zone. I'll just show you the floor plans really quickly. The main entry to the home, the lower part of Plan South here, which is actually to the north, faces Northfield. You come in, it's a large open floor plan. It'll have a study, a great room, living room, kitchen, and dining room. Open stairs that take you to the second floor. And on the second floor, there are 4 bedrooms and a series of bathrooms. There's a master bath, and then 1 Jack and Jill bath that's shared between two of the bedrooms and then Weller. And then in the basement, so this was the 3-car garage. This door will go away. This area of the garage will be used for storage. There's a small area of the basement that has an entertainment center, a theater, and sort of a wellness center that includes a cold plunge, a sauna, and a steam room. And then the balance of the basement is used for fitness. There'll be a gym room, and that gym room will have things like cardio equipment, possibly a treadmill and elliptical, as well as weight equipment. And then there's a sports area where because of the grading of the site, we can have a relatively high ceiling. Mr. Gomes' son is an up-and-coming soccer star. He's already a star, but he's a young man. And I don't even think he's 13 yet, but he plays for his school, and he plays in many leagues. So this will allow him to practice and do indoor. With that, I've kind of described the process, and I've completed my testimony. I'd be pleased to take any questions the board or the public has of me. I will note that we have Mr. Ficino from my office, who's a civil engineer here, if you need any testimony on engineering and grading or stormwater, but I can tell you that we're improving the stormwater conditions, we're installing dry wells, and if this project's approved and constructed, the runoff will be significantly better and more detained than it is now. So if you like, we can bring him up, otherwise Mr. Dougherty is available.
I think you can just clarify that without him coming up. You have the dry wells there, which is taking the runoff from the roof, and then everything looks like it's grading away to the unallowed, the west. I couldn't come up with a direction,
Yes,
right? So
yeah,
everything's
yeah.
grading not to the unused side.
Right, to the southwest, which is
Yeah.
is it East Orange or East Orange, I guess, or Orange Water,
Yeah,
Orange
East Orange.
Water Reserve, right.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
so one of the beautiful things about this property, there's very few neighbors, only to the east, and they're separated by woods. House already is very hard to see from Northfield because there's a tremendous mature growth on both sides of the stream, and then we're even proposing the house further back than the existing house. So it'll really be hidden back there, and then there's this beautiful backyard.
Does anybody on the board have any questions for this? Please.
Yeah, just for my clarity, in drawing A1, you're reducing the 4-car garage to 3, you said?
Yeah, so
The north side, the piece will go away?
the door will go away.
Okay.
We'll use the space for storage.
Okay.
So you can only park 3 cars inside.
And the reasoning for that?
Well, I think you
No,
have to,
wait.
it would have to be
I think
sworn in.
when they submitted the plan, they didn't realize that the Livingston ordinance only allows a 3-bay garage. They put in 4, and they were reminded by the township that 4 requires a variance. And what Mr. Jarmel is explaining is that they're eliminating the 4th garage in order to bring the property into compliance with that particular provision. So the garage is eliminated, but that space becomes extra basement space, storage space.
Correct, yes.
I hope that answers the question.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions? Please, Peter.
Yeah, I'm confused on what we're looking at in terms of the square footage. So
when you're calling 600 feet of garage, is that referring to the whole floor, less 450 square feet? I'm confused, what's above grade, below grade, what we're proving,
Okay,
what's
so-
the final numbers?
So, yeah, so referring to drawing A1, okay, so based on your definition of what's considered habitable floor area, it's the first floor and the second floor, which are each 3,050 square feet, and it's the first, it's anything in the garage beyond 450 square feet. Okay, so the first 450 square feet of a garage, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 cars, is we'll say free area. And then anything larger than that is considered part of habitable floor area.
Can I back up? Because I think maybe I'm helping you.
Okay.
To define this, because I think you might have collapsed two concepts. You get anything that's below grade, right, would be considered the basement space. We're not going to count that at all, right?
Except for the garage is an outlier, because the garage,
So we're
regardless of
still
whether
going to
it's
count.
basement.
So you're excluding the whole, the ground floor, we'll call it, on the plans, right?
And the first 450 square feet of the
Oh,
garage.
and the first floor, and then you're including the rest of the garage that's not 450 square feet. Is that
Right,
what I'm
because
understanding?
yeah, the ordinance is, the garage stands alone. So regardless of where the garage
Even if
is.
it's below.
Whether it's below, above, if somehow you put it in a ramp and put it on the second floor, it doesn't matter. Garage is garage minus 450, no matter where it's located.
And it's habitable.
The rest of it, in that ground floor area, Mr. Jamel is indicating that that's all, the garage is
Basement.
counted, and then the rest is basement.
That's
So
all-
that
It's all
becomes a
below, and I
zero.
want to be clear on that too, because I wasn't
Yes,
clear. So
right.
all of
So-
that is below grade.
Yeah, well, it complies with the definition of a basement. It doesn't have to be 100% below grade. It has to,
Correct,
there's
yeah.
calculations
Okay.
with average. So it's basically a walkout basement at the garage. But if you imagine this, if there weren't garage doors there and there were windows there, none of that area would count based on the way the ordinance is written.
And just to piggyback on Mr. Weissman's point, because you're eliminating that fourth garage, you're actually adding more basement.
That is correct.
So you're actually lowering by
about 300 square feet.
By about 300 square feet, you're lowering the actual
Habitable area, yeah.
habitable area. I'm blanking out on.
I was
keep-
saving that for Mr. Dougherty, but yes.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
don't
So-
make Mr.
so-
Dougherty do too much work.
He did say, well, he testified in the last application, he wasn't very good at math. I heard him say that twice, but I don't believe that. But all kidding aside, so we're allowed 6,200, we're at 6,700. By eliminating that one garage and reclassifying it as storage, we lose about 300 square feet. So it brings us down to 6,400, where 6,200 is allowed, and I'm going to be very careful here, in the R1 zone. And keep in mind, we're in 2 zones. And if you use the R1 zone criteria, there's a sort of a double criteria, where one is the maximum habitable floor area, which is 6,200 square feet, and I believe the other is you have an FAR, a floor area ratio, which I think is allowed to go up to 15%. We're only at about 2.5% of the overall lot area, because this lot is so large.
So, go ahead. Yeah, so because I saw that. So and I just want to know if there's any legal support or prior precedent or something that you're referring to that we should examine this as an R1, because I see that you show on the plans that the R1 is the backside. And I think that probably would be more relevant had they, I don't know if you asked them, if you did do a driveway and built 4 homes, I think that might be relevant. And then, because I believe that the reason it's cut is because that back part abuts all of the Chestnut Hill homes.
That's correct. So,
So it's
sir-
really, and
We're,
I,
we're probably gonna,
Yeah,
we're
sir-
probably.
sir,
you want me to
if I may,
cover
I-
that?
Yeah,
at
we're
that
probably
time?
really,
Okay.
now we're really stealing Mr. Doherty's thunder
And-
because.
that's fine.
And
I just-
technically,
you
I
gotta-
don't have the
you-
right license to testify on that, so, although I have the knowledge. We'll-
It's only
we'll
because
let
we
Mr.
brought it
Dow-
up now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think you're right to
Yeah,
defer that.
Ms.
But-
Doherty's
but
gonna
that-
cover
yeah.
that
Yeah.
piece, I hope.
Do you have a question?
No, my question was really along the same lines, but I think we can cover it. But I just wanted to, I mean, maybe we can just think about this. I just want, is any portion of this house going to be in the R, it's okay. Is any portion of the house going to be in the R1 district?
Jarmel's the.
I'm
Yeah,
jumping
so,
ahead.
so, no.
Okay.
Right, and there's a lot, there's flood hazard issues, and had we put it further back, we would further exaggerate.
Exacerbate?
Thank you. It's late, I'm sorry. This is my second hearing this week. The setback variance, the front yard variance, too.
Can you just explain again? Can you just explain again the front yard setback? Because I'm
Sure.
a little confused about that.
All right, so, wait, I can. So you have a requirement that your front yard setback is 50 feet, but not to exceed 60 feet. And we are, I think, somewhere
120 or so?
120 feet,
Okay.
right? Now, you know, I think the ordinance doesn't take into consideration lots of this size and overall area and depth, and I think Mr. Dougherty will give you more
Okay,
detail on
we
that.
can talk about that, okay.
Why don't you come on?
Before you go, does
Yep.
anyone in the public have any questions for this witness? Please come forward.
Okay.
My name is Margaret Rieger. I'm the only house that borders this property. I'm the only citizen that is
What would be the address?
190 next door to 184.
All right, ma'am, let me swear you in. Do you swear firm and tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay.
So these are going to be.
Questions?
Just questions,
And then I
right?
have a statement later. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. You mentioned the house was built in 1912. It was redesigned totally in 1994, and then Pedro redesigned it again in the last couple of years. So my house is 1,500 square feet, in line with all the other houses. When the first renovation was created, the house doubled in size from 1,500 to 3,000, and now we're looking at over 6,000. And I have a problem with him harassing me, so if he could just turn the chair around. Anyway, I came in front of you, the board, when we did the Zoom thing, and...
Are we asking a question?
I'm sorry?
Question.
We need a question, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm going to get to it. I have a problem with the property line between mine and his and what the survey says. It's not a big problem. It won't change much, but we had
So,
I'm
ma'am,
gonna-
so let me do two things. Number one, if there is any property line issue, this is not the board that would have any jurisdiction over that.
Okay.
You should probably reach out to your local attorney at law, and an attorney can assist you with that if there's a lot line dispute.
It's minor,
So,
and I think it could be
so-
explained to me here.
So, well, that's not what the purposes of the application is before the board. And so secondly, we need a question of Mr. Jarmel. He's ready for a question, so whenever if you ask a question, I'm sure he's ready to answer it.
Okay. We're talking about moving the house because of the stream. Do you realize that in front is a brook? It's not a stream. It's a brook that overflows because you realize that's not a stream, it's a brook?
The brook
Okay.
stream is
Well, it's a
semantics,
big-
but I
no,
am
it's-
aware
okay.
creates a flood hazard, yes.
Yeah, but this house, are you aware of the fact that this house that's presently existing is at the highest point and has never been damaged by water in the front?
I don't have history
Okay.
of that.
The stream the brook has 4 feet by me, it rises to the wall, rises to 10 feet by his property. What happens, are you realizing where the water goes when it goes over? I know this is not the water time, but I spoke to Rocco Marucci today, and he told me that I should express my concerns. Do you realize that the house you're building is in the way of the flow of the water? You're putting it, yes, it is. I've been here 45 years. I've seen the
Well,
damage.
So
My cons-
where we're putting the house
Right.
has to comply with flood hazard regulations, okay? And New Jersey has extremely complex flood hazard regulations.
Right.
Candidly, that's not my area of expertise.
Okay.
My colleague, if we need to, we can bring him up. But we're raising the elevation of the house
Right.
as a result of the flood hazard, and is what's required by DEP regulations. We're installing dry wells, which are basically areas where the roof water and the impervious surface on the building will be collected and absorbed and basically recharged into the ground.
That was
Currently,
my question to
Please,
you. I
ma'am.
noticed on the map, which I got to see finally today, and the survey, the stormwater, could you explain that to me a little bit? What are the stormwater that I saw on there? And how is the water that flows across all the properties from the Chestnut Hill down by the brook, by the stream in the back, that's going to massively come across? How is that going to help me or help the water disappear? Because you have a house there that blocks everything exactly where the water's coming through. And I noticed
so
those things there.
Okay, okay, there's really, in essence, two questions there. There is naturally flowing water of some type, either whether you call it a brook or a stream or whatever. And there's another part of the question with regard to rainfall control measures. And so I'm sure that Mr. Jarmel can provide some information about how the rainfall is dealt with, and then secondly, about how, if any way, the naturally occurring water that goes across the property is being avoided. So, Mr. Jarmel, with those two questions, can you please answer the lady's question?
I can try, and if not satisfactory, we can certainly swear Mr. Ficino in. So, first of all, it's my understanding and my knowledge, based on looking at the survey, your house is actually at a higher elevation than this property. So the water that flows from your property flows onto Mr. Gomes' property.
It actually flows behind.
Wait, ma'am, you got
Okay.
you asked a question, you have to answer it.
So nothing we do, unless we raise the elevation of Mr. Gomes' property so it's higher than yours, which we're not proposing to do, would cause any water to flow back onto your property. Now, I would imagine if the brook, as you refer to it, gets clogged with trees or something like that, that it could potentially overflow on your property or Mr. Gomes' property or something like that. But basically, what we've designed is not changing the flow, the natural flow or direction of any water.
I've been through Floyd, shut down Northfield, Ida that was recently shut down Northfield and swept right across. I've had my entire driveway taken up, not by my house, but between my house and the garage, which is where that home is going. I don't mind if you can find a way to divert the water, but right now, the water that is not rainwater and it's not a slight overflow of the brook, that brook becomes massive. It becomes torrential. It takes fences down. It takes my driveway down. It took every shrub I had around my house down. And it's
Ma'am,
happening.
we have to ask a question.
The question is, do you have a way to assist in diverting it? Because right now where you put in the house is where the water goes. And I've been here 45 years, so I know where the water goes. And that's right where it's going. And I see a big massive
Okay,
block.
all right. Question is about, it's been asked and answered, but quite frankly, but control of stormwater and natural water.
Right. So because we're down gradient from your property, there's nothing that we can do to help control the flow of water on your property. We also, my client doesn't own your property. He doesn't own the property that's uphill from your property that he could do something with. I mean, candidly, I think if you have a problem and you see this brook overflowing, you may want to talk to the municipal engineering department, you may want to talk to the DEP, but we're not legally, and nor are we doing anything to the brook. We're not touching the bridge. Mr. Gomes' bridge is existing to remain. We're not proposing widening or filling in or changing the grade anywhere around the brook that would affect your property, which is up gradient.
It wouldn't affect me because it goes, Northville slants down and the Brook
Okay, we
slants
have to
down.
ask a question.
Okay, here, I just had it in my head until I got cut off. I did talk to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. I had a situation a while back where St. Barnabas owned the property. They wanted to take down the house in
All
the
right.
front, and they wanted to build there. Are you aware of the fact that there was a ruling by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, of which I went to engineering today? They don't have it on file. It's not being submitted with this.
Okay.
If your question is, do I have any knowledge of that, I have none.
The back property is not allowed to be built on, and St. Barnabas left.
Again,
Okay, wait.
not the property we're talking about this evening.
So,
It is the same property.
okay. See, what we're doing here, this is argument, and that's for.
Well, I asked him
Be-
if he
Lloyd,
knew.
No, ma'am, I'm sorry, but the way this works is you have to ask questions. The witness answers the question, and then if you don't like the answer, I'm sorry, but that's the answer. And this piece about St. Barnabas and the DEP, I will tell you for a fact that nothing is being built in the state of New Jersey that impinges on any type of wetland or riparian right that the DEP is not going to be involved in. So quite frankly, I'm sure that Mr. Gomes' professionals, his architects and engineers are going to have a lovely time if they have to deal with the DEP.
But they made
So
a
there's
ruling.
that's
He
it.
brought-
This is not an argument between you and I just told you.
No, it isn't, but he brought in that
No.
I should contact the DEP. And
No.
I'm telling you that I
Ms.
have
Rieger,
contacted the DEP.
ask a question.
That's what, I was asked if he was aware of it. He's not aware of it,
He's
but
not
it
aware
is.
of it.
But
What's
it's
the
If it
next
still a
doesn't
question?
apply
ruling.
to his property, he probably doesn't need to be aware of it. We can go in circles all day. I understand your concerns. Would you please turn to CP 100 one second, just so I can clarify something?
Yeah, there's a riparian
Just-
zone.
I'm talking now.
Wait a
Okay.
second,
Okay.
He wants to see CP 100.
If you could get to CP 100,
Is this-
getting closer. Getting further.
Which one? This one? No.
I think he's got to scroll down. This is why you need an engineer.
You wanted 100. Up.
Every drawing but you've shown.
There you go.
There you go.
Yep.
So there is a hatched area known as Zone X, and to the right of that is a FEMA flood zone AE, it looks like. And if I look at that, those are obviously areas of concern. And if I go to CP 200, it looks like you are building way behind that and out of that zone. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I think that answers it. Let's move on.
That's not what I have.
That's what I'm seeing on the plans. If the plans are incorrect, go to the building department. We're not going to debate this all day.
No, I
They're
just
doing
want-
their
I will
job.
go to the building department.
Go
And I will
ahead.
tell engineering about this, the
All
ruling.
right, he's mapped the
not on
FEMA,
there.
he's mapped the FEMA zone.
it's not
It
on
says
there.
FEMA
Wait,
flood
wait.
zone
Chair.
AE.
It's not
Chair,
the
let me-
riparian
okay.
zone.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay. Any more questions?
I have just a statement later.
Okay. All right.
By the
Mr.
way, I worked with your father, Marvin.
Wonderful, thank you.
He's a nice man. He was a
I
nice
just-
guy.
Yeah.
You gotta laugh at
Yeah.
that? Because I wanted to give him a compliment?
That's fine.
Yep.
That's fine. That's,
Thank you.
that was nice.
I'm very fortunate to still have my father. He's 90 years old. And he
Ooh,
he
wow.
founded my
God
business.
bless.
Mazel tov, as I say.
All right, so we're done with Mr. Jarmel.
Thank you for your time.
No problem. Are we going to move to Mr. Doherty? Okay, Mr. Doherty, let's get you sworn in briefly. All right, Mr. Doherty, you swear affirm tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
All right, Mr. Doherty, you've previously been qualified in the field of professional planning and chair.
We can accept you as an expert in professional planning.
Thank you. So I kind of want to circle back on a few items that were discussed and raised. To remind the board, we are eliminating 3 variances out the gate. You know, we're trying to bring a product, you know, a project really that is going to be as conforming as we can make it with the hopes and requests. I'm not an engineer, I'm not an architect. I think you saw the architectural renderings. It's a beautiful home, and we'll certainly advance purpose I, desirable visual environment, by removing that fourth car garage and keeping in a conformity with, you know, the vast majority of the Livingston residential neighborhoods. But for purposes why I have this screen here, when we talked about the zone and the split zone that we're in, it's important to note that line, that hatched line, and you know this is the existing condition of the site, the light grays of the buildings of the homes, but the R1 zone makes up 77% of the lot, and I know this because I had my prep meetings and I worked for 2 hours with the engineer to get those numbers, and he is here and he can verify those numbers. The R3 only makes up 23% of that total lot, which is that front portion. And as you can see, it's encumbered by a vast array of issues here, from the brook, from the new FEMA, you know, Zone X. With that being said, this property is unique. We want to preserve as much of the open lot as we can. As you know, the architect indicated, we had discussions, preliminary discussions behind the scenes, the applicant and his design team, about what we can do with this property. A subdivision, I think, unilaterally is what we consider overdevelopment. Now, I understand the board's looking at these numbers on paper. The residents, when they're noticed, see these numbers, and they may say this is overdevelopment. We had an early conversation, and we were poking at that gray area in our ordinance about the basement is not included in that FAR calculation, or habitable floor area. However, our garage is that gray area. It's expressly called out to be counted. I would argue from a planning standpoint, in the intent of the zone, as we kind of were pondering it, when we talk about most projects and most developments, garages are at grade. I would ask the board to keep that in consideration when we deliberate on that variance, but nonetheless, as the architect testified to, when we look at the floor area ratio, the sheer size of this property, when we talk about can this site accommodate this home, I would argue it can. Whether we are in the R1 or the R3 zone, we're 1-digit percent in FAR requirement, whether that's 2% or 2.6%, where the FAR floor area ratio for the R1 zone is 15%, and then the R3 would be 21%. Though we are technically in definition of the R3, we are substantially under that floor area ratio, and you know, nowhere near the 21%. And as we kind of chop up some of the the site here and make it better, but the building footprint is really to remain. And I think as we had the discussion just a momentary about the flood, the issues, the environmental constraints surrounding it, the orange open space reservation, the brooks and streams, or whatever we're calling these, I'm a planner. I think we're setting a stage for exactly why we're asking for a bigger home. We are on Northfield Avenue. This is not an interior residential neighborhood where your kids are playing in the street riding their bike. That's not happening here at this property. The property, as the neighbor kind of gave testimony to, is encumbered by floods and you know, saturation of water, and you know, we see this on the screen today where that is. So we're asking to really kind of bring some of that component inside, and really it's keeping to that garage. I think what we're looking here is at a design where we're anticipating future issues. Everyone in this room and those hopefully are aware, the flood elevations were just lifted higher, anticipating, you know, global warming and climate change. Given the snow that we just had this past couple of months, I would welcome. But nonetheless, flooding and environments are changing. So what we have is a over-engineered site. We have stormwater wells and dry wells that are on site today or being proposed that aren't there today. This site is built in 1912, as the neighbor testified, local knowledge, and as planners, we rely on that. It's been renovated. We're trying to modernize, you know, a home that's over 100 years old. You know, my records indicated from my research the building is built in 1912. With that being said, what you have here is, you know, substantial variance on paper, but the practical sense is when we talk about that habitable floor area, and I'll kind of defer to my counterparts. I know the numbers changed a little bit. 6,400 square feet, I believe, is kind of where we just landed. When we look at the zone and what it allows for the, if we did a subdivision and we try to pack this in and put at least one more home on there, we could see another structure, you know, of that 6,200 square feet. So when we talk about what the site could accommodate and see here in scale, size, and massing, we could see potentially another home. I understand the board, that's not an as-of-right application. But from a planning standpoint, I think there's some strong merit to ask for a subdivision. But nonetheless, it has environmental constraints. We're not asking for that. You know, what we want to do is build a home that's compatible with kind of the split zone here. And I did prepare an exhibit packet. It consists of a map, some maps and some drone shots when I visited the site over the weekend. I'll plug in the USB and kind of show you. This split zone is unique. This property and the two adjacent us, the brook runs in front of the property. Then it kind of does a jog, and then the remaining houses, the lots going up the Chestnut, the brook's behind it. So when we talk about from a planning standpoint, residents don't know when you enter one zone into another unless there's certain features. You're crossing a bridge or railroad track, the buildings dramatically change from residential to warehousing. You don't know when you go from an R1 to an R2 unless the homes are substantially larger or different. So I would argue, as we look at traveling down Northfield, which I do every day, I live just down the street of Northfield in West Orange, I would say that coming out of that stretch of woods, we have the Livingston Tire, and then it's just woods. I don't pick this house up when I drive past it. It's when I'm not going that slow, but I'm not going that fast. It is well hidden. We're gonna bring this house further back. So when we talk about the scale, size, and massing, I know we're asking for a little bit on habitable floor area. We're substantially under on ratio, and there is a balance to be had here. That habitable floor area, in my professional opinion, we're including in that garage, which I would ask the board consider, it's below grade. And that is the gray area where the ordinance isn't expressly stating it, it's implied. It doesn't expressly state that we should not include the garages below grade. It's mute on that. So I agree with council that it's a variance by pure definition of the way it's written in your code. But by the intent of the code, the way I read it, is the basement doesn't count. But nonetheless, I would also argue, given these environmental constraints, when we talk about habitable floor area, I'd like to reiterate the flooding and the firm maps and what's going on at the site from local knowledge and the engineers that are in the room. There's no way we're gonna habitate this garage. It's below grade. There's environmental constraints. So when we talk about setbacks, the bulk relief here, dimensional relief, we really are compliant. We're asking for that front yard setback because, to the neighbor's point, there is some issues back there, you know, flooding and local knowledge. We want to bring and redesign the site because currently today, the way the house sits, the driveway, the hub, the activity, the beehive of a residential home is the driveway, the garage is the front door, and the kitchen, right? But that garage, that driveway splits between the properties. We want to bring that noise, that ruckus, the car door slamming, the alarms, the moving, bring it to the other side of the property. We are in compliance with that setback with our neighbor, so we're gonna calm that down on the property line, soften that, get that enjoyment. As the architect testified, we're gonna come into compliance with the height. So when we talk about the scale of this site adjacent to neighbor, it's atypical of what would otherwise be permitted here anyways, from adjacent and to the property. But there is a benefit here by moving those garages to, I would call the right side if you're looking at it, over there. It's all woods there. We're gonna lose that garage. I would argue we couldn't see that garage as we drive past it, but nonetheless, it's a variance we don't need on paper. We can comply, but we bring that side load there. So we gotta kind of come out and come out head first. So we are asking for the circle driveway so we can come on the Northfield without backing onto it, which I think would be a detriment to the greater community. I don't think anybody wants to back up onto Northfield, especially coming right off those woods where you don't even pick this house up when you drive by. So having the ability to come out head first, I think advances purpose se of the miscellaneous law for the public safety and general welfare for everybody in the community and not just those that reside here and future use and residents of the property. I do see benefits here. I'm not an engineer, but this site will have best engineering practices. We are very compatible with the adjacent zone to the back of us, and I would argue that this zone, really, given the physical features of the property, could be looked at, giving 77% of the zone is in that rear zone of the R1. But when we talk about compatibility and scale size, the lot, the zone we're under that FAR, that floor area ratio. I think truly by definition and the merit and the intent of the ordinance, we are compatible with that floor area, habitable floor area, given the environmental, given it's below grade. I do agree with council, I stated before, it's mute on that definition, but the practical sense is, what we're seeing here on this site is exactly what the zone allows for by its build out and scale. That rear yard setback, we love to be on Northfield Avenue and showcase this grand, beautiful development from a planning standpoint. We want to accentuate corners in communities with good architectural design and anchor them. Same thing on prominent corridors. We want to have that presence there. We have that brook there, and we want to come out head first. So we are asking for a setback, but given this is one of the first, I would say, positive reinvestments to the housing stock, what you see in this immediate neighborhood, having it recessed, I think, is a benefit here. And I would also, from personal experience in my term in Dover, we have the Rockaway River C1 waterway. I can tell you right now with what's happening with FEMA, I'm not an engineer, but with the flood elevations, the flood hazard, the floodways, properties have to get elevated. What we see here right now, when they sell these homes to the next homeowners, getting insurance, getting flood insurance and a mortgage, these homes are going to have to get elevated. I'm confident as a professional, what I see out in the industry and what's happening out here, it's only going to be a matter of time before the next couple of houses are being rebuilt and moved back away from that brook and being elevated. So I think we're the first of what to see to come over the next, up teen years as Livingston progresses forward, giving that brook, given the environmental constraints and given new engineering regulations. But, I do believe the variances here exist on paper and not in the reality of the sense of the property. So with that, I'll say I don't see any negative detriment. I see a lot of benefit. Again, calming the side yard down with the adjacent neighbor, bringing engineering here, and bringing that all in-house. That garage, again, I'll state, is below grade. Their front yard setback, I would argue, is a hardship due to that brook. And I think it's an opportunity as well to come out head first, which is a benefit and a safety. So with that, I think we'd advance many purposes of the municipal land use law, more efficient use of land, as well as advancing purpose I, adequate light, air, open space. I want to emphasize we're also substantially under on building coverage for the size of this property. 10.84% is what's allowed. We're at 2.83%. So when we talk about the intensity, the scope of development, that doesn't exist on this property. And when we talk about this overall, I can defer to my engineers. A lot of it's going to be to engineering to ensure that there are some environmental constraints. Having our consultations, I can confidently say, with what you see here, the multiple dry wells in effect here, there will be, and what you heard about the elevation, there will be no off-site detriment. And our immediate neighbor to the right of us is open space, conservation space. So there will be no negative effect to our neighbor to the left. Our neighbor to the rear is off a Chestnut. It's a flag lot. They're so far behind us. There's a brook again back there. There's no impact there. And again, we have open space to the right. I don't see any negative substantial detriment with this project, and no impairment to Northfield or the zone or master plan. And I would urge the board to really evaluate and consider the garage is below grade. There's no way it's going to ever be habitable space. And with those numbers reduced, we would otherwise, from my understanding of my math, we would be in compliant. So with that, I'll conclude for any opening and comments. But this is a very unique application. And I think it should be considered carefully.
Thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions for this, please?
Yeah, I guess my question is, besides this whole split R1, R3 zone, affects the next 3 properties adjacent to it. So if this got approved, just looking to the future, the lot, the lot immediately adjacent, lot 27, lot 29, both look like they could accommodate the same type of size house. But the issue I see here is then you have lot 28, which is a smaller lot. How is this going to fit in with the existing split zone lots? Because they all can't accommodate what you're trying to build here.
Let me just double check real quick. Apologies. I do have a exhibit, and if we can bring it in as an for the record.
Well, one thing's, we don't often have split zone applications. I think this may be the first one we've had in a while. Ever, okay. And I think part of this is probably driven by the fact that the property fronts on a major thoroughfare in Northfield Ave, right? So when the zoning was done, you know, you do zoning based upon what you expect to go into that area. Now, zoning is not perfect, right? So at times, you'll end up with what are like this split zones. So there's been a couple of arguments tonight by Mr. Jarmel and then by Mr. Doherty that the fact that a large majority of the site is in the R1 district, that has some relevance to the application for this particular site, for this particular set of circumstances. Now, as board members know, every application stands on its own. Every application that comes before the board would have to substantiate its own position as to why it would meet the requirements of whatever that other application may be at some point in the future. But to that extent, if there were any other, regardless if it's the ones next to them, but any other split lot properties, they would likely make similar arguments about the fact that they border, and in fact, their lot is shared between zones. So I'm sure Mr. Doherty is going to respond to Mr. Sherman's question, but I just want to make clear to the board, yes, the house is being built in the R3 area, and therefore the variances are necessary relative to the R3 area, but the board must take into consideration that the property has an R1 designation for a significant majority of the remainder of the lot.
Yep.
So that's part of this. So yes, towards Northfield, those are R3s. But obviously, you can't discount the fact that for whatever reason, what I'll say is the rear of the property, or the vast majority of the rear of the property is in the R1.
I got that. I just talking about the other ones that are the same situation. It's not, it's, the other ones, I'm not talking about the other ones that are just R3. I'm talking about the 3 adjacent properties that are clearly the same R3, R1, where they extend big time into the R1, but there also happens to be one property within those 3 adjacent properties that does not extend, so there's no way that they could build the same, so now you're gonna have big house, small house, big house.
If I
That's-
may.
Well, that, and let me just say this. Once again, that goes back to my point before, that each individual application would have to stand on its own. So, Ms. Doherty, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I
no,
cut you off.
I appreciate that. And I do apologize. Sometimes I get ahead of myself, and I need to slow down and maybe expand upon some points that I'm speaking on. The next couple of slides, I think, really help.
We're going to call this A1?
Yeah, we'll
now?
do this A1. It's a 9-page exhibit. It consists of maps and photos that I took myself. Just for orientation, we are in the red area generally on the Livingston zoning map. And what I'd like to do is zoom in here. What's compelling about the zoning map, and we break it up, the light is tan is R1, the darker tan is R3. What's important to note here is the R1 zone exists behind the lots that front Northfield. Now, I think it's important as we look at the tax maps, we look at the lots, these couple lots I've mentioned extend several hundred feet deep. And when we look at the built environment of that brook, that stream, that waterway, it's in front of our homes, pushing us rear. It comes behind the other homes, which is gonna keep them, forcing them to hug Northfield. So when we talk about the balance, and to council's point, you know, the zoning maps and the intent of zones, but the way I look at this is the homes that are up on Northfield Avenue are your R1. Those homes 2 lots down can never go any further back because that brook is back there. Our home and the likes could be further back. I know it's a relief. That's why we mentioned the subdivision. We could have a home in the R1 and hopefully ask for one in the R3. And again, I will defer. It's not an as of right, but I think we have a compelling argument. But we looked at this and said that's overdevelopment. That might be too much. And I bring that on to the record because if something was that approved, you would have a home in the R3, which would allow for the R1, which would allow for 6,200 habitable floor area and or a ratio of 15%, which is a 5,287. So you would get a larger home, and you'd have another home up in the R1. So when we talk about the build-out, the mass, the scales, the intensity, I think we're comparable. I think this is the lesser approach, and 77% of the property is in that R1 zone. And I think that should be important to note, though by definition, the structure is there. 77% of the property is in a different zone. The brook is in the front. If there was ever consideration going forward, and as the council indicated, we don't set precedent, they gotta make their own case and stand on their own merits. But as we look at these three unique properties, I would argue from a planning standpoint, that R1 zone should be considered, and the impact that it has in the fact that the R1 zone lives behind Northfield and the properties and the houses that sit up on Northfield. We're moving it back, we're keeping away from the brook, and again, the vast majority of the property sits in the R1. With that being said, the next slide, we kind of hone in, and we kind of show those properties. Our property extends further back, our adjacent neighbor, yes, the one is a little bit shorter, then you got this weird, wacky, pie, irregular shaped lot right here. And the next slide is from NJDEP's GeoWeb. You can kind of really see the brook here and Bear Brook tributary and the extent. But these properties really do push back, and then you can kind of see those three lots that hug up on Chestnut there. The brook is behind them. I would argue these other properties should kind of be in R3. That's my professional opinion about it. I understand they're not all the same, and every application is unique and different. I would also look at our property very unique and different, that we also sit adjacent this massive open space, off in the distance here. So there is no neighbor. When we talk about continuity, FAR, scale, size, and massing, we set the tone. And we're coming right off the woods that you don't even see this property. With that, the next couple slides here are drone shots I took visiting the site this past weekend. It's a big home. It's got some patios and that connect and decks and so forth. But this layout, for the most part, is 1912. So when we talk about the scale and massing, the extent of the build-out, I would argue the footprint's comparable. This is a little bit more sprawling, and we have the decks and the patios, but when you look at the build-out, we're gonna move that garage driveway over here in that right space where you see the snow. And I'll kind of show you the garage, the driveway comes behind it, it runs between our neighbor. We're gonna move it over here and kind of square off that build-out. Aerial drone, you can kind of see where really the intensity of the site is on that property line. So all that open white space, that snow, that's kind of where we're trying to relocate that beehive component of the site. And as we heard, we're gonna keep the bridge. We want to be able to come out head first and pull in and not have that conflict when one's pulling in, one's pulling out, to have that turnabout in the front. I think when we talk about this open space, we bring the drone up, there's nothing behind us. It's wide open space, and that lot is really deep. And you can kind of see the brook behind us as well. And on this slide here, following the mouse, you'll see that brook kind of starts to meander behind those. So again, the R3 sits behind the residential homes on Northfield. The R1 sits behind those houses, and the houses on Northfield are in the R3. Our brook's in front, kind of pushing us back there, setting us further back. That's why I'm making that. But nonetheless, comparable, even if we just stay to the R3 zone here, the R3 zone allows for 21% of floor area ratio. We're substantially under that. So again, on balance, that's what we're looking at. I think the home is comparable of what we're seeing back here, what we're seeing in the zone. I see benefits, as I stated earlier. But that was the rationale behind the justification. And this is the R3, this is Chestnut, this is our immediate neighbor to the rear, it's on a flag lot. But I want to point out though is things take time. We have larger homes, newer homes, and we still have some of the older existing housing stocks, but the neighborhoods in the R3 are changing over, and I think we're complementary to what's there by massing. And I think the identity of this property, I would be hard pressed to say the identity is that of the R3. It has more relation to the R1.
Alex, just for the record,
Yes.
how many pages?
That's nine slides, and I
9
took these
slides.
photos myself. They're dated at the bottom here, February 21st, I believe, last Saturday.
Okay, and you'll give a copy to
Yes, I
Catherine?
can email them over, yeah.
Okay, great.
Does anybody else on the board
Yeah,
have
I-
any questions for this
I have
witness?
a question.
Oh,
Well, let me,
oh,
because I wanted to
what?
follow up.
He's writing. You writing? You don't ready?
No.
Oh, you said wait.
Make sure you got.
I am, I'm looking at him.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. I wanted to go next, just because I wanted to follow up on the same issue, because there's several issues. You know, usually it's, how do we feel about the variance? Usually the goalpost is fixed. Here, we don't know the goalpost, right? R1, R3. So, and you've stated, you're not an attorney, but you've come up with, to propose to us, and part of our job here is to interpret the statute, right? We see the statute, we could all read the same statute, it's our job to interpret. So, I want to tell you how I look at it, not because I'm trying to convince you, I'm saying it during this question and answer, because
Yes.
I want you to tell me why we should adopt this view when we're interpreting this statute. It is, I'm gonna call it clever, but I get the go by the majority of the lot. That seems like one, that's what you're buying. For me, I need to look and think, what did the town intend when they drafted this statute? The statute and meaning drew the map. So, one, I know, I'm correct that there's no right of way to the R1 portion of this lot. Is that correct?
I apologize?
There's no right of way to the R1 portion of this lot. Meaning you can't get to this, there's no way to get to the R1.
The remaining of the lot?
Yeah, the
Correct,
remaining
yes.
of the
It
R1
doesn't-
portion, there's no right of way. There's no access to this portion of the lot,
Correct.
right? Two is, I don't think that the town would intentionally, again, I'm putting it out there, maybe you'll come up with other
Okay.
examples, being more
Okay,
experienced.
I think, wait. There's a lot of going on here. Let's be clear. They are in the R3. The structures in the R3, they need a variance from the R3 standard.
Yes.
The nuance, I believe, that Mr. Jarmel started with and that Mr. Doherty has shared is that the site is not only proximate to an R1 district, but in actuality, the lot itself is, a good part of it is in the R1 district. And when you look at your R3 standards, the lot size for an R3 is significantly lower than what this particular lot has. So that's why their FAR is, the floor area ratio, is 2%. So we always see we're famous around the county for our FAR here. So, we get the 3% over, 6% over. This one is
6.2%, I believe we're at.
yeah, I mean, you're
21's allowed.
15% under in terms of the FAR because of the amount of lot. So they're not saying that we need to apply the R1 standard. We couldn't do that. You don't have that jurisdiction.
Okay.
You're applying the R3 standard, but what they're saying is you have to take into account what's actually there. So what's actually there is a very large lot, and which most of it sits in the R1.
May I just,
I appreciate that.
can I just say something?
That's the goalpost, I get
I
it.
just want to piggyback onto what you both have said. In the past, applicants have come in front of the zoning board, and whether it's an R1 through R4, if it's an oversized lot, oftentimes we'll look at the size of the lot, and let's just say if we're in an R3 and the lot size is 15,000, but they come to us and they say, well, it's a 25,000 square foot lot, but it's in an R3. Even though it's an R3 zone, we look at it at a 25,000 square foot lot, and we'll make adjustments based on that. So maybe we should just, I'm not saying not to look at it as an R1 and an R3, but let's just pretend that it's an R3. If somebody came in front of us and said, here's an R3, but it's, 200,000 square feet, we would say, well, that's really oversized. So I think that maybe what's tripping everybody up is the fact that it is a split lot, but it really is just a very if we just look at it as a very oversized R3, maybe it'll just make it a little bit clearer, a little bit easier to look at it. Just a thought. And, sort of, I think everyone's getting, like I said, getting tripped up on the fact that it's 70% R1 and 30% R3, but let's just look at it as a really oversized lot. I have other things to say, but that's just one comment.
And that's fine. I just want to know where the goalpost is R3. And I get that you're just making the argument of why we should go a few thousand square feet over is because of where it is. Now I understand.
I just want to clear for the record.
Okay.
We're under, whether it's R1 or R3, under floor area ratio.
Right, I'm talking about square feet.
referencing the R1 because when we look at habitable floor area, which is what we're here for,
Yeah.
we're right there. We're right there on that and the context. But to your colleague's your counterpart, the lot is 107,850 square feet. The lot area requirements for the R1 is 35,250 square feet. The lot requirement for the R3 is 15,000 square feet. So when we talk about proportion and ratios and what could happen on this property, which is why we talked about and alluded to the subdivision, we think we have a good chance, but we don't want to go that way. We really are just a drop in the bucket on the sheer size and the volume of this property. And I apologize, I got lost in the zones here. That I referenced the zones because we are going further back. We're coming off of Northfield, and that's where that R1 zone lives, is off of Northfield. That's why I apologize, I get ahead of myself, but.
I have a question. Two questions. The first one is simple. The sewer easement, will there be any change or impact to it?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Second question. Early on, your team mentioned that you will not seek subdivision to the property. Will you add this one, would you agree to add this one to your variance once it's, can we do that?
We cannot make that a condition of approval.
If
to tell them
approved-
that we can't make it a condition of
We can't
approval to
subdivide.
tell somebody that they can't seek a subdivision in the future.
Because the low FAR, the ratio, is due to the lot being big. You know what I mean? So
Right.
once if the
We'd have to
building
approve it
is
at that time.
there, then we slash the property by half or by a third, then the ratio will go up.
Right, so.
We're under on
you would-
ratio.
We can't have a condition that says they can't make a future application. However, if this were to be approved, what they're in essence doing is they're already setting a standard for a portion of that property. I don't know what other portion of that property is actually developable. It sounds to me like there's a number of environmental constraints. So that, yes, if they did a subdivision in the future, then for each of those individual lots, they would then have to substantiate variances if they need them on each individual lot. So so in essence, the variances, if you were to approve them today, doesn't mean that they would clear them at some point in the future if they want to seek a subdivision, because they would be creating new variances. So they would have to come back before this board to obtain that subdivision approval with any and all variances that may be applicable. So if they end up, because of subdivision at some later point, if they were ever to do it, and that site went their standards would change. Let's say their FAR goes above the standard, they would have to seek a variance.
But if they're not touching, just not related to this, I mean, in general, hypothetically, if the property got divided, say, into 3, but this building will not be changed at all, but in the future, your FAR for this particular property still go up.
Yeah.
Right, but so if the FAR, if the subdivision results in this property going above the required FAR, even though it's existing, because they're causing a subdivision, they would have to get a variance approval for that particular variance that they now have created.
For the R3.
So
the
even
R3
though-
now,
No,
right? Well, that's the front.
Get away from the R3, R1s.
Even though at
Because
that
that's tripping us up.
point, nothing changes to the proposed building.
No.
Wait.
Say,
So there's no application before us on a subdivision, okay?
Correct.
So we can't stop them from getting a subdivision, and if they ever were to see a subdivision at some point in the future, if they were ever to see a subdivision in the future, because we're getting on to dinner time, if we ever got to subdivision in the future, they would have to substantiate what their basis, A, for the subdivision, right? Because they gotta substantiate a reason for the subdivision. And number 2, they'd have to substantiate any variances that are created by virtue of the subdivision. So if this site, if that building now ends up violating an FAR because they're gonna subdivide it, he has to get approval for that.
In hindsight, if approved, the only real practical subdivision is to sell off property to our neighbor, because if approved, the structure, the garage, the pool, there's no way to access the rear of that from Northfield. So in a practical sense, it serves no purpose. But today, if we demo and do a subdivision and go to the planning board for that request, put a road in down the middle and do a small cul, the intent was, that to me is over intense development, but it's in a different zone, the FAR, the habitable floor area, we would essentially see 1 or 2 more houses. So in the grand scheme of what we look at, on paper, the number may look big, but it's really just a drop in a bucket given the sheer size of this property. And I think this is a very much the more sensible approach to turning over a structure built in 1912. And I apologize if I went on a different direction.
Does anybody else on the board have any questions for this witness?
Yes, I do. I understand your environmental constraint that you explained through, but I wanted to understand, if you can help me to understand the hardship that you have compared to 3,180 square feet of variance that you're seeking versus 3,520.
So I want to just go back to the ratio allows for 21%. We're 6.2. So there's a checks and balance. We're not over on the floor area ratio. We're over on your definition of habitable floor area. Again, we're 64,000. I asked that we not consider the garage because it's basement level. We'd be more in conformance with, about 61,000, 62 and change. I'll leave it to the mathematicians and engineers. But for purposes, we are over by 3,500 square feet. But at the end of the day, we're substantially under on the ratio. And when we talk about what we're trying to achieve, as you heard the neighbor testify to, we saw the firm maps, the flooding, the ground is saturated. We're not using that in a recreational sense. I'm on a major arterial road. I don't have the same luxuries as living on Chestnut, where my kids can ride in the street and play ball. Everything's gonna be confined to the lot, and we're trying to confine it to the interior of the building, and we're elevating the building as well. And if you look at the floor plan, it's an open floor plan, it's a modern arrangement, that's why we're asking to keep the shed for that additional storage. This is a state-of-the-art facility. So, we are asking for that habitable floor area.
So this
Yeah.
is, and just to be clear, the applicant is not seeking this relief because of a constraint of the lot. There's not a hardship. They're placing the property because of environmental constraints. So you set that aside. So the front yard setback portion of this, okay, that would be in line with a C1 hardship. because you have a brook in the front, or waterway in the front, which forces the home back, right? So that's in essence what they're saying with the front yard setback. The habitable floor area, that is what's falling under the C2 flexible standard, right? Because what they're saying is that because we have this size lot, we have the flexibility to build something on that lot comparative to what's on that lot, comparative to that lot size, so that they're not violating, and they're significantly under, the FAR, right? Because that's one of the things that is one of the standards. So they're saying, yes, we're over the habitable floor area, but we're significantly below the FAR. So that's that C2 balancing standard. So that's in essence so when you look at the two variances, one is a hardship, right? But the other one is on that flexible standard.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Does anybody in the public have any questions for this witness? Okay, are you gonna bring anybody else up?
My client, Mr. Gomes, would like to talk to the board briefly.
Sure.
3 minutes.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth for the zoning board tonight?
I do.
You can sit. So just state and spell your name for the record.
Pedro Gomes, Pedro, last name Gomes, Gomes.
Close. Yeah, you gotta speak into the mic.
One more time. Pedro Gomes, Pedro, last name Gomes, Gomes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Gomes.
Having him pull up a picture real quick. Is it okay if I stand up, or is it the mic? You need the mic.
You just have to be close to the mic, is the only thing.
Oh, let him pull up the picture.
Turn on my mic.
You can take the mic behind you and walk if you want, right?
No, it's okay.
Oh, I'm just,
This doesn't have
I hope the guy.
Doesn't have internet?
Do we have internet?
It's gonna be quick. Yeah. So I guess the map's not working, but just wanted to point out.
Just take the mic there if you're
Is this
standing.
mic here? Yeah.
Well, he's standing.
Yeah, that's fine.
There you go.
All right, is that good?
Yeah.
It works? Okay, so the map he was gonna pull up is of the greenery. Can you just turn it around so they can see it at least, just so they can see a visual of it? So the point is, the picture that we saw earlier was in the snow. That's when it's spring, summer, fall. When you drive down the street, you cannot even see the house, period, right? People miss my house all the time. So by setting the house even further back, you're gonna see the house even less, right? So it's not gonna be an impact, like you had mentioned about the difference on the neighbors, et cetera. And that map also shows that everyone behind me has these massive houses on Chestnut Street. So we're not really changing the design. And on that map also, what I want to show is there's these 2 soccer nets in the back of my yard, and that's why I bought the house. My son just came from Manchester United. He got a trial out with the academy team, and he's been playing out there, and the goal is to keep those soccer fields there. To your point, if I build this $2-3 million home, for me to do a subdivision, I would have to knock that down to be ordered to do a subdivision. So there would be no reason to do a subdivision in the future unless you knock down the existing home. The other thing too is, I'm a single dad, my son goes to a private school. Doing the other route of doing a subdivision and doing 3 or 4 homes puts more kids in the school system for the city. And so for me, it was just like, you know what, I want to stay in town. I've been here for 15 years. I'm not going anywhere. I work 12 minutes away. My son goes to a private school very close nearby. I won't say for privacy reasons, but he doesn't go to Livingston School. So this is something, well, the picture's up here real quick, but to point out what I was mentioning is, so the 2 soccer fields are here. So by us setting the house back, you see all the greenery. These are like 30, 40-foot trees. You can't even see my house when you drive by. So the fact that you can't see it now, and it's already a big house, we're knocking it down. And if I'm pulling this back towards this side, still keeping my son's soccer field back here in the wetland area, you're not affecting or impacting anyone, right? And there's no detriment because it's a 200,000-foot lot almost, right? And most people come here and they're like on a 25,000 square foot lot, and they're asking you for like a 3,500, like Mr. Steven was saying, why don't you do a smaller house? Yeah, but they have 25,000 square feet. I have 8, 9, 10 times that, And I'm only asking for a 6,000 square foot home. So it's not this massive, big impact. We are mostly in the R1, and I just would appreciate that you guys consider that. I also took the privilege of coming here in good faith and I removed the garage, I lowered the height, even though I really wanted high ceilings on my ground floor so it could be grand, right? My personal liking, everyone has different preferences. But I knocked out 3 of the variants just to show you guys that, like, we have 2 variances, right? We're over by a couple hundred square feet. There's no detriment to anybody in any way, shape, or form, and this is a good product. And by the way, I'm a developer. I built thousands of units throughout the county. Matt's my architect on several of them. So this is my personal home. I'm living there. I have the expertise, I have the knowledge, and clearly I have the passion. So thank you, and I know it's night time, so that's it.
Thank you.
Sorry, everyone.
That's okay. Do you have anything else from you guys?
No, we're complete. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Would you like to make a statement, ma'am? Please come up.
So ma'am, just do me the favor, before you start, just please state and spell your name and your address one more time.
Sure. Margaret Rieger, Rieger. Thank you. 190 East Northfield Road, resident there for going on 45 years. I just heard, I have 3.76 acres. So my lot is bigger than Pedro's. And according to my variance that I went for a couple years ago, done by Anthony Marucci, I have on 3.76 acres, only 120,000 square feet of property. He has less than me, and he's claiming to have 200,000 square feet of property. It's right here. It's right here. It's not 200,000 square feet of property. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody can interrupt. Okay, I appreciate it. My biggest fear, we have appeared in front of you before, but it was with Zoom, so you didn't get to meet any one of us. It's when the markers in front of my house were verified by you folks that he had put a fence on my property. He has also taken bushes and planted them on my side of the fence, and I had to have them removed. He is not a nice person, but I wish him well, and I wish him to have a nice house. But he also, we had to call the cops the other day because he lit up everything. He put a light up on his property that lit up all of my woods, all of my property, all of my house, and the police came and just by looking at it said, shut it off. I fear the retaliation, and I fear the past, and the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. He has not been nice. He hasn't even shoveled the snow out front on the sidewalk. It's still there. Okay, we had a storm, how many days ago, and it's still there. You can go out right now and take a look. The cops came and took a look. They went to his house and said, please do something. I don't think he was home. I don't think he answered the door. But people can't walk from my house to his house. They can't walk down the street with their dogs. He hasn't shoveled. Now, he wants to do all these wonderful things. But I don't trust him. I'm sorry. But to say you have 200,000 square feet, and my property's bigger than yours, and I only have 120,000 square feet, where do the lies stop?
Thank you. Thank you.
It's public comment. We're taking Ms. Rieger's comments.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Ms. Rieger.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I meant no harm by mentioning Marvin.
No worries.
No harm was intended. Okay, does anyone on the board want to make a statement?
Okay, it's 5 after 10 already. I'm going to make this very quick, but I just feel like I have to say something. So, thank you very much. One of the things that I really love about the zoning board is that we learn something every single time, and thank you, this was an education like this. I felt like I was going to school tonight for zoning, because we've never, ever had to deal with this before. So I feel like this was a great education for us, and I think having this conversation was really terrific and bringing this all out to light. It's unique, it's a very interesting property. I do appreciate the fact that it's really 6, but we added the garages, so you actually eliminated 1, 2, 3 variances, 4 because the shed is pre-existing, so there's really only like 1 that you came for. I trust that you will work with professionals to mitigate the flooding. And and I forget who said that, best engineering practices, I know that that will also be something that you will do. So I do appreciate it. I do have to admit that this was a little daunting when I just saw this, and I drove by and I couldn't really see anything, and then when I saw this and I saw these variances, I was a little like, what's going to happen? So thank you so much for presenting this clearly and answering all of our questions and having patience. And I hope that you invite us all over for a party if this application gets approved. So, thank you very much.
I'll just second what my colleague said. I appreciate the fact that you guys came in, you thought about what you're coming in with and said, maybe this is a little much and toned it down. That makes it easier for us to, know you're working with us before you even start talking. So that's always appreciated when the applicants are willing to adjust.
Agree, and I'd just add, to the points that were made, it is a unique property. You're looking at, a 2.3 acre or so property, right? Just quickly doing the math, right? So R1, R3, R22, I don't really know that, right? But when you look at the zone and the size of the property, whatever zone it is, right? I get the point. I appreciate you taking particularly the time to kind of do those different ratios for us to help us understand the size and scaling of what you're trying to do.
Any other statements?
And I don't, without expressing a view on it, I think that and you did an excellent job, by the way, summation without an attorney. I don't know if an attorney would have done any better. You did a great job on the summation.
It's all right.
I mean, Mr. Wenzel would have done better, but that's it. That's the only attorney I know that would have done better. So I think these are, I just want to say in general, since it's a chance to make statements, these are the toughest things. We're talking about double the square foot, putting the size. And for me, I think the zoning laws are created for the neighborhood. And I just want to say there are houses across the street, so I don't think it's not necessarily that there's not a neighborhood. I think the question is, just looking at the law, with respect to not the ratio, the square footage, is will this be, varying by almost double the size, is this going to be a benefit for the town as a whole? We know it will benefit you. Will this benefit the town? Sometimes we think, oh, that would be great to have a much larger structure there. Sometimes not, and it's not exacerbated, but more poignant here because this is a major part of town that everyone sees every day. So that's really the question for me. Would it benefit the town to have this structure in the further back space with this size, with these variants, and it's going to substantially outweigh the detriment of us not complying with the zoning? So since I'm not voting, I don't want to say the view, but I think that's what we're trying to determine of how much will this benefit the town here.
Thank you. Anybody else? Would someone like to make a motion?
I will make a motion to approve. Hold on.
Wait.
Subject to
Yes.
To the revisions to the plans showing the removal.
Elimination of one garage door, moving the swimming pool out of the side yard setback, and reducing the height of the building to 35 feet.
Thank you.
I knew Mr. Jarmel
Subject
would
to
remember.
those conditions, motion to approve.
Oh, I'm sorry. Second it.
Okay, Mr. Horn,
Yes.
Ms. Khan,
Yes.
okay, Mr. Kenya, yes. Mr. Shah,
Yes.
Mr. Sherman,
Yes.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Beer.
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations.
Good night. Motion to adjourn?
Thank you so much.
Motion to adjourn.
Second and Sal second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.